Welcome to First and 15, the only podcast that's trying to get you paid. I'm here with two-time FFPC champ AB. Listen, man, FFPC Listener League, we've been waiting all year. Guys have requested it. We got AB in the building. Guys, if you are in this draft, feel free to log in as well. We sent a link to everyone who is in the draft. If y'all want to pull up because I can't wait to see how this draft starts. We got less than a minute left. Can't wait, man. Let's see, JD, where you at? I don't see him in the link to let him in. Did you send the link to?
Yeah, everybody got the link in the email. That's what I
All
clicked
right.
on. Yeah,
It
yeah.
should be in the email. JD, check the email. It should be in there. But yeah, man, I can't wait. Dio's on the first pick. He's going. I mean, like, he's gonna go Jamar Chase, right?
We'll see. We will see.
Oh man, yeah. I think he's gonna go because I don't get the feeling that he's necessarily, like as drafted as much as he did in previous years. So it
Yeah.
seems like, like he's probably gonna go chalk. I'm assuming he's gonna go chalk here.
Yeah, I
I'm just
feel
gonna
like,
say,
I mean, you can kind of make the argument for I think a number of different people, but he does enough drafts to where he should just go chase. This
yeah,
year, not like most years, I mean, it is chalk as far
yeah,
as, chase. So it's just so rare to get him after that.
yep. There we go.
So
All
yeah.
right, the draft has officially started. I'm gonna play a little background music and let's get going, man. So what you are pick what 4?
Or I'm coming up.
All right,
We'll
all
see. We'll
right.
see. We'll see what I do. We'll see what I do.
Let's see what's available. I mean, I'm interested to see what's going to be available to you. Because the thing is, like, you've drafted a lot. So, I mean, are you looking to? You're always looking to diversify a bit, right? I mean, like in every draft, right? Like,
Yeah, but really for me, it's the diversification is something I try really not to force. So for the most part, I let things kind of come to me, and just try to you know diversify in ways like mid rounds, later rounds, but in the first couple of rounds, just because I'm just gonna have picks from 1 through 12 at various points.
yeah,
Let me try to take advantage of ADP dips. And then like there's players that, you know, I'm trying to decide between, then that's when maybe I'll reach a little bit. So like he just took CD Lamb there. I think that's a decent pick. So I may
yeah.
reach a little bit here, may wait. We'll see. I'm gonna take my time with this one.
All right,
as
all
I
right,
as I as I take a sip.
right, right. On the clock.
On the clock. So
Shout out to Carlos. I see Carlos is in the building at pick 7. We got to get
yeah,
you
we
back on the pod, Carlos.
yeah, we got to get them all. We need those injury updates.
Yeah, yeah, we definitely got to get him on soon, man.
So I'm not gonna waste too much time.
Let's say, come on, man, make the pick.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to set things
Anyway,
up, trying to
Jameer
make sure
Gibbs.
everybody's good to go. So just make sure we got our honored and esteemed guests who are in this draft as well. Just want to
Yeah,
make sure
yeah.
everybody's good to go. Yeah, Gibbs, that wasn't too much of a hard decision for me
No.
though. It was pretty strong. I considered maybe going wide receiver there, just given what wide receivers fall back to you. But wide receivers deep, but those elite wide receivers, those are hard to find.
Yeah.
So I never try to go into a draft thinking, okay, I'll just, hammer out running back early and then I'll find my elite wide receiver later. You
Mm-hmm.
know, so
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Boys are spending all the time on the clock, so it's crazy.
who's number five? You know who number five? Who the who's I don't know who's on the 5 hole? Let's see.
Yeah, man.
And
C-Mac and then Justin Jefferson went quick. Like, boys wasted no time. I think you got to take Justin Jefferson if he makes it that far.
Yeah, and actually, that was who I was considering uh, instead of Gibbs, and that's just more of a roster construction. And but again, you do enough drafts to where Justin Jefferson has fallen late these days. He's also, he's still coming back from a hamstring injury, so there's a little bit
Hmm.
of risk there. I think these high end guys, we all just have just so much optimism that when they have injuries, we kind of, I don't want to say not take it as seriously, but we just lean more towards the glass half full type picture of them, being ready to start the year, as opposed to some of the guys who go later when they get injured. I think we take it, maybe a little bit more seriously.
Yeah, we talked about it on the pod the other yesterday about, or I
Yeah.
think we either talked about it Malik Neighbors, like being injured and not being in camp the entire time. I still like Malik Neighbors there at 7. I like somebody else a little better, but I mean, you can't miss with Malik Neighbors, man. I mean, he's just a target monster at this point. Saquon is kind of dipping a little bit.
Yeah, he goes kind of throughout. It just depends on what people think about the regression and whatnot. I think he'd be fine. I'm less so worried about regression from, or not regression. I'm less so worried about injury. It's
Hmm.
definitely in the back of my mind. Like I wouldn't take him number one, but you're not really having to make that decision this year. For me, it's just more so if he regresses from being just so efficient on the ground game, but is not getting the love that some of these other running backs are getting in the passing game.
Hmm.
Then I just think, I don't want to necessarily bet on him just breaking away and having so many 50, 60-yard TD runs and their
Yeah.
defense being so dominant. But there's still room. I mean, there's still room for him to be fine and easily pay off his first round ADP. It's just how big of swings do you want to take and what do you believe?
Yeah. Yeah. Ashton Genty right after Saquon. Man, like given like the camp news that has come out so far, especially this last week, I'm surprised that the back end of this draft hasn't necessarily changed a bit. And I don't want to talk the board, but
Yeah.
it just seems like it's kind of unshakable at this point. Like normally we see like some movement when it comes to like this back end of the draft, but the same guys that were there a month ago are still the same guys that are there now, right? Amon
Yeah.
Ra, Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty, the same guys.
Yeah. I mean, and honestly, like I don't think enough news or any significant major news has come out. Brock Bowers falling that low. I think it's pretty interesting. But yeah, I don't think enough news has really come out to signify any significant changes or switches. I just think, it's kind of one of those things we talk about the news cycle, social media. Certain guys are going to get hyped. It's going to be their, hype period over
Hmm.
like a course of a week, and then, the community will kind of transition to somebody else.
Hmm.
And vice versa. There's always that, player that we're worried about, or, maybe it's, starts off with an injury and then everyone starts coming out with all the potential negatives and all the ways that this player can go wrong.
Yeah.
So, somewhat of a echo chamber in that respect, wherein really nothing has changed at all,
Yeah.
at all, basically.
Yeah.
So,
And if you follow Dio's thought process, hey man, it's still preseason, right? Like it's preseason. Like what should we take from preseason outside of pecking order?
yeah.
Like so. I mean, I get it. Trey McBride still going high. Brian Thomas again in the second round.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, it's JD,
he's
Trey McBride, Brian Thomas. That's just it's the thing. You like look at the end of the board. It's just I just love all the combination that you can get. I
hmm
love Trey McBride. I love Brian Thomas. I just love a lot of players going there. So it's almost just like you know take whatever combination you want to take, and then you kind of build your draft around that. Uh, this year, or not this year, this time of year, like I would say, like the last couple of weeks or so.
hmm
It does get a little bit dicey on the back end, and as far as hoping you kind of land at least an RB1 or a presumed RB1.
hmm
The running backs, I think, tend to kind of move up the board the closer we get towards the season. Certain situations become a little bit less ambiguous, and I think people just, they just want that sort of kind of safety in the running back position.
David, what's going on, man? Thanks for
What's up,
dropping
gentlemen?
into the show.
What
I
is
feel like I'm
up?
hanging out with some celebrity drafters here.
Oh, no, not at all, not at all. We happy to have you guys on. I think I'm not going to talk too much, but I did want to just thank you and everyone else who just kind of taken part in the draft, and even more so, listening and supporting the podcast. Anytime anyone comments or has suggestions, so we love it all because we at least for me personally, anyway, I feel like part of the pod experience, part of the first and 15 experience for me is that I don't get to just like, I don't have to keep all of this to myself. Like I get to share in this experience with everyone else. And for me, it's really just like a shared experience. So thank you for joining us.
Absolutely, man. I'm happy to be here. I consume a ridiculous amount of fantasy content, just like the two of
Yeah.
you do.
Yeah,
But y'all's is the only podcast that I actually listen to. Everybody else, I just pull up and read the transcript because it's much more efficient.
Oh, wow.
Y'all's is just too entertaining not to listen to. It's both wisdom and comedy.
Oh, man, we appreciate it. We appreciate it.
man, I need to. I'm contacting sports betting, man. It looks like both of his picks were auto drafts. I hope he's in, and it's not just auto drafting his first and second round.
Let's hope not. Let's hope not. Contact him. Get him on the DM.
Yeah, yeah. Hold on. So let's see. But Nico Collins is who I wanted to talk about because I'm surprised like he fell to the second. Like remember when we talked about me drafting what about 2 or 3 weeks ago? I took him as high as 107, and you're
Yeah.
saying hey like sometimes he could make it back to you in that second round. I'm so surprised given the week that he had last week. That Texans offense looks efficient. I'm surprised he made it to the second round.
Well, I mean, that's typically where he goes. He definitely has been getting steam recently. I feel like I said, this time of year, he's one of those guys that seems to be getting a lot of love. A lot of people talking about him as potentially, finishing the season as an overall wide receiver one, just
Hmm.
like many of those guys can. So I didn't have an issue with how high you have him ranked. I just felt like, in terms of trying to uh, build a squad. But I mean, I don't want to hear from myself. I want to hear from the listener. I want to hear from
Yeah,
our guests. I want to
yeah,
hear what
yeah.
his takes are. Like that's what I want to hear.
He's going to be on the clock in a second, though. So let's let him focus. I'm sure he got somebody in
Yeah,
the queue
yeah,
already.
yeah,
So let's let him make this pick.
yeah. Oh man,
Dang, AJ.
you were hoping for AJ?
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. See, I was trying to stall enough to make sure you had your players ready, but as you start to, we're gonna see who you're gonna pick here, and then as you kind of get your second pick in, let us know what you were thinking. As far as roster construction, build. How do you approach FFPC and just leagues in general?
Oh man.
I got him shook.
I
Were you?
I got I got two drafts going right now, so I'm trying to juggle too much.
Oh man, oh man.
I love knowing that I'm not the only degenerate in the room.
I'm just gonna go ahead and get him because I know you're hoping that he's gonna fall to you on this beginning in the third round. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take him now and get him.
Took Kittle.
I love the snipe. I love the snipe. So yeah, so talk to me about like your number three, your third overall pick, and then why you chose Kittle here.
Yeah, I mean, I really wanted to pick Gibbs, but when I went through my picks at 22 and 27, I just didn't like to rely on some of these wide receivers that are here. So even though I think
Yeah.
Gibbs is probably the smarter pick, I just wanted to go ahead and lock up a wide receiver one now,
Hey
and
David.
then I'll just let running back value fall.
Hey David, like are you a mash drafter or are you, like a one or two bullet guy?
Man, I'm all over the place. I got spreadsheets.
Oh man.
I got all kind
Oh man.
Because I'm always like interested in like the different drafting strategies, like from guys who draft a lot of teams versus guys like myself who may draft, like 3 or 4 FFPC teams. Like I'll probably top out at 4 teams this season, which I don't consider myself a mass drafter. But like I always think about like how do people who are not mass drafters think about like their selections?
Yeah, I mean, I'm totally in the I'll figure out running backs later camp. I know that what backfired last year, of course. But no, I'm heavy taking care of wide receivers and tight ends, and then I'll figure out QBs and running backs later. That's just inevitably how I go into it.
Yeah. How long have you been playing FFPC?
Not too terribly long, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Maybe 4 or 5 years.
Same here. I mean, I got in because this guy's a degenerate and brought me in. You know, he has an addiction, and then he brought me in, and I've been in ever since.
I don't want to be doing this about myself.
Right. So I think this is probably we've been potting for the last 3 to 4?
4 years almost. Yeah.
So if it's 4 years, then that means I've been playing for 4 years because I started when we started potting. So it's been a big learning curve for me. Do you play like any other sites as well? Like, is it FFPC, Underdog? I'll let you go ahead and. Okay, got Kyron.
I do Underdog because it's it's just kind of.
It's quick.
It's just kind of more like spring training, just kind of. Where's ATP? How's it move? I'm more like AB. I kick those off in the wintertime. Like as soon as the Super Bowl's over, let's see where things are moving, and then I probably get a handful into the dynasty and in the sleeper leagues as well.
Yeah,
on that side.
I love it. I have a question for you. I got a question for you. Let's get. I want some information, okay? I want the inside stuff because you got. Like myself, and like you just mentioned, you get information from pretty much all over. However you get it from all over. So from everything that you have just accumulated and via osmosis, and you're kind of like what has just led to you, your gut feeling, being on the clock. This is where I'm at. This is what I believe. What I want is, where do you see this season going? Broad overview. Like, what type of season do you think we're about to have? Like, we're about to enter. You mentioned the running backs last year staying healthy. You're typically a wide receiver guy. What do you see? How do you see this season playing out? And then what is the one guy that you think is just tremendously undervalued? You don't have to necessarily give him away. If you want to lean towards one of the earlier round guys, that's fine. But I want to know what your thoughts are on the season, and I want you to kind of give us, maybe your guy or a guy that you believe in and no one else believes in. I want to hear the goods.
Yeah, man. I think this season is going to be absolutely bonkers. I think when you look across people's ADPs and their draft boards on different sites, using whether it's Fantasy Points, Draft Sharks, some of these other guys, it's so similar. You look at Jeff Ratcliffe, FTN. I mean, they're all so similar. No one's taking a stance on what's going to happen or how things are going to play out on some of these guys. With that being said, in terms of a guy that I'm all in on, I don't know. I pretty much. I mean, I know I just took Kyron Williams, which is not normal for me, but I'm all in on drafting these rookie running backs. Other than I want veteran guys at the wide receiver, tight end, quarterback positions, get value where I can, but I'm gonna try to stack this running back class because there will be way more injuries than there were last year. That's for sure.
So when it comes to a Trevion Henderson and Omarion Hampton, going into early, mid, third round, you feel like that is appropriate and that's where they should be?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I'm pretty high on RJ Harvey. I can see him taking over both of those guys. Omarion Hampton, to me, I think obviously the talent is there, but they're going to use Najee, and that offense isn't necessarily, in my opinion, one of the premier offenses anyways. It's a little bit more run, a little bit slow. So, I like RJ Harvey, honestly, to smash.
Okay. Okay.
So
I like that.
so so AB, but you drafted Amarion Hampton. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
first share that I've seen that you take all season. At least I've seen.
hmm
Um, I mean, like, have you turned the page on Amarion Hampton? Like, I know that it was kind of questionable whether Najee is going to be back, the eye injury. How do you
Yeah.
feel about that situation?
So I mean, I have a couple of shares of Amari Hampton. They're pretty much all fourth round, and like we talked about before, players move up, players move down. Uh, David, someone who like drafts quite a bit, especially if you're doing best ball and keeping
Hmm.
spreadsheets. I'm sure you look at this kind of as like a market, kind of like almost like the stock market itself. And certain times stock markets go up, but it's still like worth the price. And so for me, like him being in the third round, definitely the Najee news of the lack of Najee, being in training camp and potentially not starting the season, I think also has a lot to do with me being a lot more comfortable with drafting him this early. But I see this offense as an offense that really wants to go through the run. I'm not saying that, there won't be pass
100%.
catchers there, but I think they're going to want to go through the run. So even if he's not getting a lot of receptions, even if he's not getting 80 to 90% of the work, I think ultimately he's going to get enough work. So for me, his price really hasn't moved to a range where it's like moving into a different tier. This tier, like right now, from like you can, depending on how you view Kyron, you could argue Kyron in this tier or the other tier. Just depends on what you think of Hunter or them like easing up on Kyron's workload. But to me, this is just one like massive tier. Um, and I think with some of the injuries that have taken place, and some of the lack of moves in certain areas, the third, fourth, and almost the fifth round, a lot of these players are the same. So it's just like I know one of the three players that I want to get is Amari Hampton. So let me grab him now, obviously based on his ADP. And then I have about 20, 25 guys in my queue that I'll be fine with for these next two picks.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, no. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, obviously, the Chargers are a team that wants to run the ball. Um, I don't know. I just didn't see that pop and that explosiveness last time I saw them play in that first preseason game. But to be honest, I haven't seen them play in a while, so I don't know.
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing about the preseason. And for
Hmm.
me, this has been one of the kind of starting the whole dynasty, or exploring dynasty and getting into dynasty leagues. Now, really needing to understand or look into rookies. My whole like rookie evaluation, processing, film review, like reading other analysts' takes.
Hmm.
That started so early on in a process that like I have a mind and a picture, or I have a view of what these guys are, right?
Hmm.
So preseason doesn't change that, training camp doesn't change that. Like, I know how athletic these guys are. So the needle doesn't move up or down. So like that's the same thing for Travion Henderson. Like you knew how athletic he was. So him
Hmm.
popping off in the preseason shouldn't really change that much. Now, if they talk about his usage being different, or we see some, things that we haven't, like maybe he's getting goal line carry, like those things are things that move the needle to me a little bit more. So I wasn't too worried about like him maybe not dominating in the preseason as far from a YPC standpoint or breaking off explosive plays.
I see JD took Alvin Kamara in the third, back end of the third. I'm still surprised that Alvin Kamara, at his age and considering, like that offense and the way that it looks, I'm surprised that he's still going really high. People still, I mean, he's going appropriately at the back end of the third. I'm just surprised that people are still high on Alvin Kamara, considering, like his age and how bad I think that offense is going to be. Because I do think that offense is going to be bad. But again, as you guys say all the time, somebody has to score a fantasy point. So, I mean, I guess Alvin Kamara is really the best person on that team
Yeah.
to do
Yeah,
it.
he's just so active. I mean, I'm a Tennessee Vol, so
Um,
that's my boy right there. But I think he has that skill set, kind of like a Jamar Gibbs, where like
Mhm.
those type of players, just because they have so much action in the passing game, that they are the type of players that can kind of play a little bit as they get older and still be
Yeah.
more productive.
Wow, the George Pickens snipe. Oh man,
Woo!
loaded in the queue. Oh man, yeah, we're going to have to talk about that when we get him on the when we get him on the. Oh man, that was not fun. That was not fun. I did not appreciate that.
Who you think?
Oof.
Well,
I'll be
yeah,
honest
like
with
who
you.
you
I
picking?
got George Pickens on my do not draft list.
Oh,
Mm.
please expand on that. Please go.
Yeah, yeah,
I need an explanation on that one.
I mean the talent is there. It's off the charts. It's always been there.
Yeah,
But if you have a super talented alpha wide receiver like people think that he is, you do not trade him away.
yeah.
yeah,
I just don't think you got CD there. Obviously they got the pass game there. Ferguson's underrated. I just don't know if Pickens is really at that value, at a fourth round value. That's not for me.
yeah. And that's I love how you just sort of kind of put that because Pickens is definitely one of those guys that right now is catching has a lot of steam, is getting a lot of love in the fantasy community right now. And sometimes it's hard to put it in the bigger picture. Sometimes it's hard to like not get too excited and say, you know what, I want to get him in the fourth round and just take him at a later or at his ADP or maybe even a little bit later. When we first started off the drafting season, I was definitely in that same mindset as far as is he going to get enough receptions? He has to sort of kind of work with CeeDee Lamb. The game changer or the difference for me is just that I just don't think that they're going to be able to run the ball. And if we get a healthy Dak, I feel like there'll be enough volume there for Pickens. Well, hit the help button. Hit the help button.
No, it's all good.
You sure? Okay, I hit it for you.
Absolutely.
It's good.
We can slow it down. Like we can slow it down. So
No, I'm not gonna be that guy.
Look, hey, from the guy who drafted Ricky Person, I'm not.
right, Ricky Person. Oh man, but you're never gonna let that one down. Like they're gonna
No,
always
there you
remind
go.
you.
Yeah. So, what that team? I keep going back and looking at that team. That team looks it's looking better and better each day, even with that. And you know what that pick? The pick was supposed to be Pearsall, obviously, but the 6th round pick was supposed to be Emeka Egbuka. So it hurts from that respect, but the eighth round TJ Warren share, I'm not hurting too much.
I see Steve G said that it was between Pickens and Ridley. I'm a Ridley guy too. If I have to choose between Pickens and Ridley, I think Ridley is going to be peppered this season. It seems like him and Cam Ward are just on the same page, man. Like it's just hard, like to look away from that chemistry. But obviously, Mike Evans goes after that, which I think obviously we talked about Mike Evans yesterday, and just him just being Mr. Consistent.
He's still so good.
Yeah.
And we talked about it on the pod. It's after the McMillan was significant injury.
Mm-hmm.
So after that, I just basically I got to start buying some Mike Evans shares and just hope and pray that he stays healthy.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all track any of those kind of data analytics stats and he's one of those players that even though he is old, he is still getting separation and he is still dominating routes at his age.
Yeah. And the red zone love is just, it's significant. The red zone love is significant there.
Yeah, but we finally got some. I want to talk the board a bit, but we got some information about that Bucs offense today. But Ladd really failed. Remember, Ladd was going in like the 2nd round. He was going to like mid 2nd round. He was really failed.
It's probably because y'all dogged him so bad on the pod.
Really? I don't want to say him like a Ladd hater. I like Ladd. I think Ladd's a great player. It's just, I got my priors on the offense in general and the volume.
Chris, should I go ahead and take the overall wide receiver 1, like to finish overall?
Yeah, go for it.
I go ahead and take him.
Go ahead and take him. Oh man, who are you taking?
If you snipe me, okay, good. I was about to say, if you snipe me, we're about to kick you off the live stream.
All right, guys. I'm gonna take off for a second. I'm gonna let Dio up because he just hit the building, and I want to keep the page nice and clean. So let me remove myself and put my man Dio up.
Yeah, I can get out of here.
Dayo.
Where did Chris go?
I think you
Chris
kicked
get
him
off?
off. I think you
Oh,
kicked him
man.
off.
Oh man, all right. That's
All right,
cool.
I'm on the
Hold
clock.
on,
I'm on
I
the
mean, I
clock.
could technically come back, but then it sort of makes the screen look ugly. It like slides everything down.
You're fine.
Here,
You're
I'll get
fine,
out
you're
of here.
fine.
No.
Man,
It's
I
all
appreciate
good, man.
y'all.
Alrighty, thanks a
Yeah.
lot, David. Thanks for dropping in, man.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thank you.
Alrighty. Dale, what's going on, man? Oh, you took a high-end quarterback.
Yes, he did. I was
Alright.
hoping Hurt was going over, man. I feel like this is. I look at this team. It doesn't look bad. I'm not upset with the team, but this is like I don't get like super excited about this team. I shouldn't say I don't get. I don't know. Nice, warm and fuzzy about this team.
Yeah. So I'm interested. Like, did you take Lad Dio because he fell to you, like, or do you truly believe in Lad? Because like he used to go a lot higher. He's fallen a little bit. Obviously, Keenan Allen coming back changes things a bit. But, like, talk through that Lad McConkey pick. Oh, so. Dio, could you hear us?
He's out there. He's not in the stream right now.
All right.
If he
Because
popped
I
out.
really want to know about that Lad McConkey pick. But
Yeah,
I see
I mean,
you
I
went.
would have taken Lad over Omari and Hampton, likely.
Mm-hmm. Oh well,
Lad-
yeah. If he makes it that
Yeah.
far, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's been falling. That 2-3 turn is basically where we typically see.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you.
I don't know what's going on.
No, like I think that was me. I think I thought I added you to the stream, but apparently I didn't. But talk us through that Lad McConkey pick. Did you just take value there, or how do you feel about that pick?
I think he was the best receiver that was available on the board at the time, and I wanted a receiver. I don't really care for Kyron or Hampton or I was considering Walker, but I thought that would have been a little too early for him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, looking back at that round, I don't really like anybody in that round.
Yeah,
That round is kind of uglier than I remember it being.
That third round?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I like Kyron in that third round.
this is what I was saying before. We were talking about Hampton, me being in on Hampton, and really, it's just between rounds 3 and 4. It's like all these guys you can really kind of argue taking anywhere. I think
Yeah.
Lad McConkey, T. Higgins to me too as well, are kind of at the back end of that tier. And then the other guys just have a lot of questions. You can argue one way or the other. You could argue
Yeah,
Tyreek
I
Hill.
like T. But
Yeah.
I didn't want to do 2 back-to-back Bengals.
Yeah. That's
So-
what. Yeah, I was hoping he fell, but
I'll be honest with you. I was actually going to take Kittle at the turn if he came down to me. I know y'all were talking to David. He was kind of
yeah.
But if he would have let him go and it would have got to me, he wasn't coming back to you, Anthony.
Yeah, I wanted Kittle. I mean, I have so much Kittle that I felt, let me share the love a little bit. But also looking at the wide receiver, this is what I was worried about, was what high-end wide receiver was I going to be looking. And I didn't want to put myself in a corner where I'm taking JSN, because between JSN and Omari and Hampton, for me, like, I'm going to just lean on Omari and Hampton. Both of them were kind of worried about either, volume, receiving volume or rushing volume. And I have less of a worry with Omari and Hampton than I do with JSN. But I can see both.
We got to talk about this Tyler Warren pick. Tyler Warren in the 5th.
Yeah, sports betting, man.
Hey, man. He's coming in and it's not playing any games, man. Took him in the 5th. And to be honest,
Over your boy Hawkinson.
Yeah, over Hawk, over Kels. Obviously over Wilson Loveland, which
clearly Dayo is the one that sold him on him. Else he would have failed back around.
Yes, so.
Oh man.
Nah, for what I hear, he's been going up boards anyway, so
Yeah, he
Yeah, yeah.
has. He
I
has.
don't know if it's the Daniel Jones effect or it's just the fact that they're hearing a lot of reports of him being pretty involved, or maybe it's just people are starting to realize the talent. But he's definitely shot up like 4 rounds. Like he's probably shot up more than any other player other than Ibuka, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, Trevion Henderson.
Henderson was already
Yeah.
going to like the 5th though.
Mm. Yeah, mid third now though,
Yeah,
which is
Warren you would get it
nuts.
like in like the 9th, the 10th.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why, again, that's why I don't really have so much issue with people taking Trevion Henderson in the third necessarily because I don't like. I was getting Kenneth Walker at the 4 or 5 turn. Now he's going in the third, and then certain guys are like moving down the board. So I don't think it matters all that much where some of these guys are going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Talk me through this Terry McLaurin pick. Obviously, disgruntled. Is with the team, but it's not suiting out. I mean, do you just assume that that's going to work itself out and that he's going to stay a Commander, or can you see his value going up if he goes someplace else other than the
Yeah,
Commanders?
I don't think that teams are willing to pay $30 million. I don't think that he's getting traded. I don't think that team wants him to get traded. That team is really Super Bowl aspirations based off of how they performed last year.
Mm-hmm.
And not having a receiving threat like Terry McLaurin, I think, would be doing them a disservice. They also just lost a veteran running back, whatever you thought of Brian Robinson, that was still a guy that I think is trusted or that they trusted. So to me, that team wants to keep him. They'll figure it out. So I'm less worried about him being traded. I'm also less worried about him sitting out the season. I don't think he's in a position where, given his age,
Yeah.
he's gonna come back 31 next year, 32 next year, and try to remake shit it is. I don't see that. So ultimate thing to answer is time. What his ADP is going to be? Where do I think his ADP is going to go?
Mm-hmm.
And before all of the controversy, he was being drafted at the back end of the third round, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to me, based off of all that, I'm like, you know what? If I can get him in the 5th round and I feel very confident that he's going to be, he's going to start the year or be there at the beginning of the year, take the
Mm-hmm.
value. Take the value. He's not hurt. He's just not signed.
Yeah. Yeah. Rasheed Rice has finally come off the board in the 6th. Obviously, we're still waiting on news on him. Jalen Waddle. I really like team. What is that? Team 10? Obviously, I'm a bit biased because I like Nico Collins. I'm really high on Nico Collins. So, but I just kind of like how that build is kind of coming about. I mean, having Brock Bowers, Nico, if Tyreek can return to form, has a high-end quarterback. James Conner has returned dividends. Tony Pollard seems to be the only back that they have. I'm actually really liking that team so far.
Yeah.
I really like that team. But yeah, but Dio, I mean, but you got your high end running back. Obviously, got like Jamar Chase, got a high end quarterback as well. I mean, I see Dio doing work over there. That's exactly why I didn't want to get in this league to begin with. After last year, I was like, nah, I think I'm gonna save my money on this one. All right, TJ Hawk is finally off the board. All right, you on the clock. What are you thinking?
I'm on the clock. Well, I got to stay on brand with this one.
Oh. Okay, how much Travis Hunter are you going to draft?
How much? I mean, don't ask me that. Ask me like, how much Travis Hunter are you guys going to let me draft? If he's just going to continue to fall to me in the 6th round, I'm going to keep taking him.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah, you got it.
Yeah, he's one of the. Yeah. Oftentimes when I feel like I'm on an island like this, usually my mind will kind of say, all right, maybe I need to consider all the other possibilities of this player not hitting.
Mm-hmm.
My mind has not done that yet, and we're about 2 weeks away. So you're gonna know how my season is going based off of how Travis Hunter is performing.
Yeah, it's just like too many too many things can go wrong for me to draft Travis Hunter. Obviously, I don't have nearly as many teams as you have, but I mean, on the few teams that I do have, like I haven't been able to click the button every single time just because, again, like we got into an argument through the group chat today about him potentially, well, him being injured now, him playing both sides in college and being plagued with injuries in college. Also, like something that, and I forget where exactly I heard this that I thought was really important or it was different, is that him playing both sides is also contingent on them staying relatively healthy too. Like if one of those corners go down, they're going to need to fill him in full time as a corner, and him playing both ways, like kind of gets hurt there. So it's something that I hadn't thought about either. Is that like, what if they get kind of thin in the secondary? Like, can they really afford to play him both ways if they have injuries elsewhere? So. Dio, I see you. Oh, double tight end. Oh yeah, you playing for keeps.
He did that. He did that on purpose.
He's playing for keeps.
He did that on purpose.
He is playing for keeps.
Yeah.
No, I like that Travis Kelce pick. But I've been kind of high on Kelce bouncing back anyway. So, but yeah, I mean, two people doubled up on tight ends in the first 7 rounds. So it's getting kind of thin. And this is kind of like, in my opinion, where it gets kind of thin. Like once Njoku comes off the board, to me, it gets really thin. Burrow, Debo Samuel, yeah. Zay Flowers is another player who I just can't click the button on either. Like I just haven't seen enough. Okay, DeAndre Swift. I just can't draft Zay. I don't know what it is, man. Like, obviously the injuries, but that offense just doesn't seem to be able to sustain an overall receiver one or just a viable pass catching option all season. Dio, like you still with us?
It's crazy. I'm listening to y'all talking. I'm actually listening to y'all as if I'm watching y'all. So I actually forgot I was like on the screen. I'm like enjoying the show and over here drafting everything. I'm so like focused. But yeah, I'm here.
Talk us through the double tight end there. Like, why take both tight ends?
Yeah,
so
why?
I'm not too big on Kelce this year, but I think that's probably the furthest I've seen him fall. And I'm just looking at the rest of the board, and not to talk too much strategy, just looking at the fact that tight ends been kind of going high, especially the tight ends that have been favorable.
We lost him. You on the board. AB, you on the board. What are you thinking? Daryl, we can't hear you if you can hear us. All right. Stuck with Coastal and Loveland. All right. That's on brand too. I can't hear you. Baby, can you hear us? It sounds muted. But Coastal Lebanon is on brand for you, though. I mean, you just took him in the last draft that we had. So,
can you hear me now?
Yep. There you go.
Okay. I don't know how clear this is. I'm going without the headphones, but yeah, I don't know. It was just a situation where I think I've in the past played the ADP and taken Evan Ingram, and when you just take a pick and you just don't feel good about it, and you're like, I'm never doing that again. That's one of those. I'm just like not doing that again. And Evan Ingram may be fine. I don't have like a great feel for it, but I think from what I've been reading and what I've been seeing, and I guess where I'm leaning as far as belief, I just don't know that he's going to be on the field 70, 80% of the time. I don't know that they're necessarily going to use him like that. I feel like they will rotate in tight ends.
They will use multiple tight ends in different ways. I think they are going to use him uniquely. I think they do really believe that he is a receiving weapon.
Mhm.
Weapon. It's just I don't know if the volume that I would like to see is going to be there with him.
Yeah.
And so the difficult thing with Loveland is we don't know. The difficult thing with Loveland is he may start off the season very slow. It may, who knows when or if
Mhm.
he, really commands volume and can finish as a top 5 guy. So this is one of those wild swings at times. Later on, early in the draft season, like literally up until a couple of weeks ago, it was real easy because I would just get him in the 10th, 11th round. Now it's a little bit more difficult, but I also feel like now, I've done enough of these where I can take these swings and, diversify in other ways. And I'm okay reaching for guys like that. And then, grabbing maybe safer tight ends a little bit later on in the draft.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like this is another draft where Jordan Mason went ahead of Aaron Jones. I know we talked about that last night. So that's kind of interesting to see Jordan Mason now consistently jumping Aaron Jones again when they were once one whole round away from each other. So that's interesting.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things where I think we all maybe just agree to disagree on that one, or at least for right now. And just we'll see. We have to see like how that all shakes out as far as who ends up,
Yeah.
who ends up being the fantasy viable option.
All right, Dio, you back?
Yeah, can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Yeah,
You're
my
good.
phone died on me, man. So
Rookie.
Oh man.
it's all good. Do I sound okay? Do I need to put my
Yeah.
earbuds in?
Oh, you sound all right.
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
You sound good. You can like talk just a little louder, but
Okay. I think I was cut off when I was talking about the fact that I did those double tight ends. Long story short, I like Kentucky this year, so he was kind of a target already, and again, Kelsey kind of fell further than I've seen him fall. So I kind of thought that was a good opportunity to kind of make a unique lineup with some value. You know what I'm saying? So.
All right, I'm gonna add. Hey, Los is in the building. I'm gonna add him to. Let's see. Can we see him? Like we can barely see him.
I can fall off.
Carlos.
Let me fall. You want me to fall off?
No. What I'll do is I'll take the banner off.
Oh, there you go.
Carlos, what's going on, man?
What's up? Can y'all hear me?
Can barely hear you.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me clear?
Yep. We can hear you. Let me see.
Carlos, which team are you?
7.
7.
Oh, you got the banana.
Yeah, I got the banana.
That means you got to hop in another draft.
Oh man. Yeah. So let's see. Where's Carlos at? All right, took a look. Neighbors. I think we talked about Neighbors. Chase Brown, Kenneth Walker. Solid team. Took Jaden Daniels. So you got your high-end quarterback, high-end receiver, 2 bell cow running backs. I like it.
Talk to us about this Caleb Johnson pick.
Yeah, I just think, like we talked about the rookie running backs, right? I have like 5 in mind, essentially. You have Hampton, Henderson, Harvey, Caleb, and then Quinshon Jenkins, just to back it off. And, over the likes of the preseason, essentially, and just kind of looking at performance, right? You look at, passing the eye test, essentially. When you look at, honestly, I'm between Henderson and Hampton almost being back-to-back. And maybe just give a little bit more over to Hampton because of the volume and the offense that he's in. But when you look at these guys run, and you look at the explosiveness that is happening when the ball is in their hand, you just get excited, right?
Yeah.
And I think that Caleb Johnson has that. I think he may take a little while longer to kind of catch up to that speed. So I'm not too happy with where he's at in the offense, especially Aaron Rodgers at the helm. but I think they could definitely lean on them. And if they wanted Jalen Warren to be the guy, he would have been the guy a long time ago. And I don't think that's the case. And so I think Caleb Johnson's a really good spot to be another RB1 for that team.
Hey, Carlos. So
Yeah.
you're the doctor, right? So let's talk medical. I'm looking at your third round pick. You took Walker. What's your thought process with that injury he's been dealing with that's been keeping him out of practice? And I think he's recently been coming back recently, but like, what's your prognosis or long term, view on him?
Yeah, I think he was dealing with like a foot issue, which he's actually had those before in previous times. And so I think with him, it's a high risk pick for sure, because every season he's been in the NFL, he's missed 3 or 4 games on average. And so I think with him, I think his prognosis is, I think it's better this time around because of Kubiak's just system. And I think that, in the system itself, like they're going to put him in a little bit more open area space, where he's not just getting pummeled running through the gaps, essentially. If you look at Kubiak's offense, I think he has a better outlook this coming season. And he's an explosive individual. But I will say this is like the most important thing for me is specific because I picked Walker in the third is now looking at trying to solidify his backup, right? Because his backup is could be just as good in that offense.
Keon Coleman. Man, like I didn't see you as a Keon Coleman guy, Dio. Like, talk to me about that one. Like, do you think that he has to emerge at some point in that offense? Like, that offense needs a receiver to emerge at some point? And
I think the Bills gonna have a wide
has
receiver one.
Mm-hmm.
Shakir, he can be the wide receiver one as far as having the best numbers. But if they truly have a prototypical wide receiver one, it's gonna have to be somebody like Coleman out of all the options on the team right now. So, he is going into his second year.
Mm-hmm.
He can definitely take that jump, a first-round pick last year, and I'm getting him late, so why not? That's actually my first Keon Coleman share, but I told myself a story, and I'm not, he's a depth piece anyway. I already got my starters filled up.
Yeah. I mean, Buffalo definitely needs that receiver one, and you're right. Like his body type sort of fits that. I mean, Shakir isn't. I mean, Curtis Samuel's still there, right? I mean, like, he's not that guy.
Is he still there?
I think he's still there. He's getting a little longer.
I know he's there. I'm joking.
He's a cut candidate.
Yeah, he's definitely a cut candidate.
Yeah. So, a tight end panic.
It's not a bad idea to attach yourself to the Bills' offense.
Yeah.
To score points. So.
Yeah.
I will say this is definitely a build I've never had before. I mean, I don't have no problem with it, but this is definitely unique to me.
I mean, it seems like outside of QB, Steve, it seems like everybody has like a kind of unique build. And I only say that just because I've seen him draft so much. And this team, outside of, like I didn't see you take A.J. Brown all that much. But like the Colston Loveland and Travis Hunter, we talked about Mike Evans. So, but yeah.
I like Mike Evans.
Yeah. Which y'all talked to me into Mike Evans yesterday. I might actually try to get a share.
So Mike Evans and Ibuka are going around apart from each other now.
Wait, real quick.
Not even
we're on the clock?
8 picks.
Damn,
You didn't know you were on the clock?
I did not know I was on the clock. That's all right. Carlos, talk to us about Chris Godwin. When is he going to be ready to go?
I think it's going to take him. I know that they're going to try and take him off the PUP list, but I think the team itself is trying to just hype him up to see if he can come back within the 4 games. But considering the arthroscopic debridement that that could definitely put him into that 4th, 5th week again, which may take him another 1 to 3 games to kind of ramp up essentially because
Yeah.
he's probably missing a lot of practice right now too. So he's not
Yeah.
getting all of those reps that we're looking for. But when you know, when I look at someone like Godwin, I'm not looking for him so that I can, draft him for my first 7 games. I'm looking to see if he will take me off for the last half of the season.
Yeah.
So you think the back half of the season, barring any setbacks or issues, look at him. See,
You talked him up. That's exactly what you did. You talked him up.
When I use that information because everybody else is going to be off him, right? So it's
Yeah.
like everybody's scared to pick him within the first 9 rounds of the season.
Yeah.
And it doesn't change, right? Especially when you hear things like he's going to be on the PUP list. I don't know. He just got a second surgery, and it's just like this. But the second surgery was just a cleanup, right? It's not a surgical repair. They're not doing anything to the structures other than just going in there and cleaning it up because that's what happens with scar tissue, essentially. Just clear up the scar tissue so that when you go into some of these explosive movements, like pushing off the ground and cutting and sprinting and all those things, is that it's not causing pain. And I'm sure there's still pain. I mean, just imagine some of these surgical procedures that take place and they're just kind of speed up their body, trying to get into game time, conditioning. Well, that's not going to happen. So get into, some arthroscopic debridement. And so when I see him fall like 9th, 10th round, like I'm not picking him so that I can use him in the first half of the season, and nor do I want him to come in the first half of the season.
Yeah.
I want him to just sit there and now, with like you said, the McMillan news, like that's huge, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's a for sure thing that he comes back later because we deal with like cervical issues. I mean, that's ending people's seasons or at least ending their careers when you're dealing with cervical issues.
Yeah.
And so it could very well be the Mike Evans show for the first half, and then Godwin comes on the scene, and now it's obviously Mbuka, he's going to be a key part of that, and Godwin can just come in and kind of replace some of the slowdown of Evans later.
But do you think that that's an injury that he can come back and be 100% this season, or do you think that next season is really when we expect him to be in full form?
It's not like an ACL, right? Or one of these large ligaments that hold steady to the knee, and you only have some of these specific stabilizers to the knee. I think there's many more structures in the ankle, and albeit he did have a tib fib fracture. Like usually tib fib fractures, like they heal up pretty good, especially if there's really good rehabilitation. And these guys are being given a lot of either. I wouldn't doubt he's on like peptides and some of these we call ergogenic and orthobiogenics that they're on, and it just improves their healing. I'm not really truly worried about that. It's just that, I'm sure he's dealing with some pain. And so I do think that the back half of the season, like I think he can come into full 100%. The injury of which he had.
Yeah.
And so that's why, I pick him in the 9th or 10th round because I'm okay with that. Even if it doesn't pan out, he's not like your wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2. He's like a wide receiver 3, if anything, and you're okay with that.
Yeah. Especially that late. So
right, exactly.
Surprised Jayden Reed isn't getting as much love considering the kind of season that he had last year. Seems like they were moving Jayden Reed all around the field.
I think he's hurt right now. I think he has like an ankle or some kind of foot injury.
Okay, that would make sense then.
I don't know, Carlos, have you heard anything about Jayden Reed?
Jayden Reed, I think he's also dealing with some sort of injury too, but I don't think it's significant. It's just I don't think he's in the news that much, right? We don't hear about him too much. And then when you hear people, hyping up Matthew Golden, I think that's why you see kind of the Jayden Reed fall. And I don't think, and it's especially within that Green Bay offense, it's like, well, who's going to be the number 1, right?
Right.
Never, on that offense.
Dio, you've been high on Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. I forgot that, he was even available. He just went, JD just took him front end of the 10th.
I've been high on him from where he was being taken before, but I can't take him at these prices right now. I'm not even sure
Even
what
in
his
the
role is going to
10th?
be right
Well,
now.
I mean, I guess you wouldn't have been able to take him in the 10th. You'd have to take him in the 9th.
I wouldn't have taken him in the 10th or the 11th. I think
Oh, wow.
I think he's probably a 12th round pick value wise.
So, but you don't see him as being the starting running back if B. Robinson is
It's
gone.
possible, but we don't know.
Yeah,
if B.
well,
Robinson's gone, it's possible, but we don't know. We can assume, but we don't know. No.
I mean, we don't know Jalen Warren is necessarily going to be the starting running back for Pittsburgh either. He's going in the 7th. I mean, Caleb.
But they've shown signs of him being a starter quite a bit. They haven't shown any signs of Krosky Merritt being a starter at the moment. Now, it might happen. I'm not saying it might not happen, but he's still in the pecking order wise. I'm pretty sure he's at the bottom. This last preseason game, I think he was in the game all the way to the end, if I'm not mistaken. So it's still a work in progress for him to get to where we expect him to become. Because for him, it was from the jump. For me, it's always been a bet of talent compared to the other options on the team. So, if the coach sees what I think he'll be able to see in him, if Krosky Merritt does what I think he's going to be able to do, then eventually he'll ascend to that position. But at the moment, right now, August 21st, I don't think he's there yet. So for me, he's a 12th round value.
I'm fine with him there, but I'm also in pretty much agreement with Daya. We're just kind of having different values a little bit differently. I think it really just depends on how much talent you think he has compared to the other backs there. And then obviously you got to let the cards play out. So if you're someone, your evaluation of him before all the news was that this is like a very extremely talented back, very much more talented between the tacklers, more so than anybody else in the roster, then you could argue you could take him where Breece Hall's going, where Sean Jefferson's going, where Zach Charbonnet's going. Because this is, I always view him as sort of kind of one of the higher end, later running backs, just because he had the potential of not just being a handcuff, but actually taking the job. There are a few of those guys that existed. And I don't really care, I don't have any issue with anybody getting overly emotional about JCM. Like, this is fantasy football. We're all here to have fun. Like, I want to make money.
What do you mean overly emotional? What are you talking about?
Not you. I'm talking about the fantasy community. Like the JCM day. Like, I have no issues with people like getting super excited, because what happens is that people got so excited that there was like, then people felt the need to say, "Hey, calm down." Austin Ekeler's there, Chris Rodriguez there. My whole thing is like, well, if you weren't bringing up Chris Rodriguez before, then you really shouldn't be bringing him up now. To me, it doesn't matter if Chris Rodriguez starts the first game or the second game, or if Austin Ekeler is there in the same role he was there last year. Those things were proven to be true. To me, I'm drafting him mostly because...
You're on the clock, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Just want to make sure you know.
Yeah, I'm drafting him because I believe in his talent. Do I think he's like Omarion Hampton type talent or Jamar? No, but I think he's like got a very unique skill set, that he's very talented, and it's a long season. Like, I don't know what's going to happen. I do know Austin Ekeler is on the older side. I do know that they have a running quarterback that can open up lanes. I do know that this is, at least is shown to be a high-powered offense. So it's like, if I can draft a guy who I think is talented in a very like high-powered offense, or an offense that Vegas has scoring towards the top end of points in the league, I'm gonna do that. And then like, we'll see how the season plays out. I may not start him until like halfway through, or maybe a spot start here where Ekeler is banged up. Like, you'll figure out when to start him. It's just, I just want to have that guy. It's literally the same exact, for me, mentality and approach that we had when we were talking about Emeka Egbuka early on in the offseason, which was like, it's a crowded room, but like, he's in a high-powered offense. He has a high draft capital. I wasn't even necessarily this like Emeka Egbuka like pre-draft fan where I thought he was just like the most amazing prospect ever. I thought he was good. I thought he was very solid and he could do a lot of things well, but he was never this like amazing prospect to me. But I saw that he was a good wide receiver, high draft capital, and in a very good offense. So I was just like, you know what? It's crowded now, but you could see a path, and we talked about that path. That path just happened to come true. But that's why you draft these guys. Like, again, you're drafting 20 players, and at any point, one of those players if you're drafting them, you feel like they can really help you out. So that's the whole point of it for me.
Sports betting man said that he got offered DJ Moore for his Luther Burton in a 1K dynasty league and just couldn't let Burton go.
Yeah, I
Also,
wouldn't.
part of the thing
I,
with JCM for me is, when we originally were getting him, we were getting him as late as like the 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th round.
yeah,
So, I've drafted him a fair amount already.
yeah,
So for me to kind of draft him at these values, it's almost like, what am I really benefiting at this point? I can almost, start to give value of the players that are kind of falling because he's kind of going higher. So, again, if everything was all even, I would value him as a 12th round pick.
yeah.
Yeah, I think JCM also got a bad rap coming out of college too. Like he got into some violations with NCAA that ultimately let his like draft capital drop with the NFL too. Like he was a prospect coming out of it, college. He was going to be a high draft pick. He just kind of went under the radar because of all the violations that went on. And I just
He
think,
only played one game last year. He played the first game. That was it.
and so that's why you don't hear too much about him. But when then you look at the, obviously the landscape of the Washington Commanders, like it's still up in the air when you look at the kind of performance of all of those backs. Like, are you going to really trust in Austin Eckler to keep that? Or are you going to trust in Chris Rodriguez? Like when you look at JCM or Bill, he just jumps off the charts, right? And I think the Commanders see that too. And we just saw it a little bit in the preseason.
Yeah.
Where they wouldn't be too, high on letting Robinson go if they didn't feel like they had a really good piece in JCM.
Two running backs that I see is at least starting the season off being starting running backs, which is Tank Bigsby and Javonte Williams. I'm surprised that they are going outside of that top 8, especially Javonte Williams, because by all accounts, he's going to be the Cowboys starting running back. And that discussion that we had today was who's going to be behind him, whether it was Maffa or Miles Sanders. I'm just so surprised that he's going in the 11th round. What were you going to say, Diane?
I said, or Blue. You didn't mention Blue.
Yeah, but Blue hasn't really been, or at least he wasn't mentioned in that discussion. I think at least starting off the season, I don't see Jayton Blue starting, but obviously he has the talent. So he could be that guy that's around once, playoff time come and you really. Thing is, Carlos, are you going to hold on to him that long? How long are you going to hold on to Jayton Blue before you cut bait?
I think like I said, the performance of these guys usually rises pretty quickly. And when you have a 4-3 dude on the sideline when and get in and he just explosive like you do see, like a Travion Henderson, you just have to get him on the field. When you look at those backs like Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders, like, do you really get excited? And I don't think the Cowboys get excited. It's just that they have some veteran running backs in there that can teach kind of Blue the scheme and stuff. But when they put them on the field, it's different. And that's what I feel about Jayton Blue. Is just these guys just have so much potential.
Yeah, I see. AB took Kyler Murray, the best Texas high school football quarterback of all time.
What's looking? Yeah. I'm not a huge Kyler guy, but I feel like sometimes, again, we can sometimes really push some of these guys down the board. And so, like, it's kind of like the Baker Mayfield, where it was like, I don't like Baker because of his value, this and that. But then you see Baker fall to the 10th round right next to Bo Nix and Dak Prescott and all these other guys. And then it's like, well, that's basically kind of the same tier to me. So let me get this share of Baker Mayfield. So I've kind of been doing that with Kyler recently now that I've seen his ADP fall, because I don't have it in front of me, but I think Kyler has some, fairly decent matchups in the fantasy playoffs. And so remember, this is, we're not just trying to win this league, we're trying to win, the overall tournament. And so if I'm looking at it from that standpoint, you never know what QB is going to put up that, overall just 30, 40-point performance. And when you look at the back end of last year, he had a 24-point game, he had a 21-point game, and then finished with a 30-point game. And that was last year. kind of fully coming back from injury, but that first year back. And
Mhm.
who knows? Maybe he runs a little bit more. Maybe the offense. It's just one of those things. Maybe do I strongly believe in it? No, that's why I'm not overweight on it. But I'm definitely think that there's a chance. And he has Atlanta week 16, and he has the Cincinnati Bengals week 17. So we'll see. I mean, that's a long time away, but I don't want to just be like completely out on Kyler on all these teams where I'm typically waiting late on quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, like I'd like a little more of a rushing upside, but I mean, it's not bad. It's just that I just don't know at that size if can he continue to run like that without being injured?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously last season he somewhat held it together, but I don't know.
I think my thing about Kyler Murray is that like last year out of 14 games, like 5 of them went over for 25 points, and then the other 9 were like he's quarterback 15 to 20, right? So
Yeah.
there was just so much like downside, and if I had him in a few leagues myself because I was excited about him, but when you have him on your team, it's just doesn't live up to that, and maybe it's the outlook of that team specifically, and adding some key pieces, but it just didn't excite me, nor did it look well in some of those games themselves. So it's hard for me to get on Kyler Murray. Do I love his do I love his his skill set? Yeah, but his personality kind of sucks too, right? Like just the way he carries himself too, right? So I don't know. I think that's off on the field performance too.
No, like I feel you on that. Like that attitude, like it does kind of affect how you see him, especially when you feel like his attitude sort of reflects his play when things aren't going well. Like he has like that diva kind of attitude, but not like in a receiver kind of way, like not in an alpha kind of way. It's just more of like a petulant child kind of way. Mm-hmm. So like I get it. But going back to what you said, I'm just looking at his stats according to FFPC. Week 1, 16.8. That doesn't get you excited. And then week 4, 11.4 points. Yeah, I mean, week 9, 7.3 points. Week 12, he had 14 points. Like, that's killing you. But we got JD, who should be up. Is JD in the building? Let me see. Is JD in the building? He is. Carlos, man, thanks for stopping by, brother.
All right, guys.
Got to get you back on the pod, man.
Sounds
All
good.
right, man. See you in Vegas.
All right, Carlos, be easy.
All right, be easy.
All right, so we got to bring JD up. Because it seems like we've been talking smack about your team, JD. What's going on, man? There we go.
What's up, gentlemen?
What's going on?
Coming in
JD,
professional,
what's
coming in
going
hot.
on, man?
Yeah.
You hear me okay? Or am I too loud? Am I too loud over
You
here?
got the
you good,
crispest
you good.
audio of the
Right.
four of us.
Right.
How you guys doing, man? I appreciate you guys having me.
Yeah.
Oh, man, thanks for coming on. What's going on, man? Like, we've been talking about Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt. Obviously, like just talking about part of your build. Defend the board, man. Like, defend the team.
Yeah, for sure. Here's the deal, right? Getting one of those top tight ends is really nice. First of all, drafting from the 12 spot these days is a little rough, Mm-hmm. So I don't usually care where I'm drafting from, but I find a lot of the values, a lot of the pieces I want to hit on are in the front half of the draft. So in the back end, I got to get a little creative. I wanted to get one of those top 3. I usually go Kittle at some point. If he falls in the 3rd, that's beautiful. But I figure McBride has been going higher and higher. Like we saw him, there was a draft. I don't remember if I was in the draft or I was watching a draft. He went ahead of Bowers. It was either a main event or a big gorilla. And, I've got my fantasy mojo ahead of me. I've got my, you always have to have the ADPs up. You always have to have Abib's rankings around, especially if you're drafting against them. So I got those on my phone, the Skywalker rankings, And so I figured, what, if I could get one of those top 2 guys, if they fall to me, which I didn't think they would, but I took McBride. And then I was looking at Brian Thomas, Drake London, And I was the whole time I was thinking I'm going to get Derrick Henry with like a nice receiver, but because McBride fell, I just took the top guy I had next at receiver in Thomas. Kamara, I mean, he's kind of the old faithful. You know, I know, Chris, you questioned the Kamara pick a bit. Let me just go back and refresh your memory. So if you look at Kamara, he's been a top 5 running back since 2020. There's only one season he hasn't been a top 5 running back. He was RB 13 in 2022. They bring in Kellen Moore. I mean, to me, offense, no offense, it doesn't matter. Throw this man the ball, give him 100 receptions, 100 targets. At this, you know, with this type of build, what I was looking to do, he's kind of the perfect anchor. I was hoping Kenneth Walker would fall to me. I'm all over the Seattle running game this year. I like Seattle a lot, like just JSN, narrow target trees. And then Tet and Pearsall, I mean, Tet is just going to get peppered. You know, I was reading he has a bit of a hammy or something like that. You don't want to see that. I know Deo is not a drafty injured guy, but I like Tet there as my 2. And, you know, I heard, I think it was Abib earlier today talking about, you know, you're drafting soldiers, right? Like you're going to war with these guys. So you're not looking to draft like, you know, a guy that's going to start every single week for you. I was compared to a puzzle, right? You're looking to put the pieces of the puzzle together so that it gives you a season and a strong season. So, you know, like the JCM, the Trey Benson, the Charbonnet. I talked about the Seattle backfield. For me, Tyrone Tracy is just, he's been a value all offseason, man, since February. You know, like what I saw as a rookie, is the offense the best? It's not the best, but they can improve. They got definitely an improved quarterback situation. They should be improved on the offensive line. They got, you know, so Tyrone Tracy to me, especially now with Scatteraboo dealing with a bit of an injury, for me, rookies in the preseason, that's very important, man, to be in the field. You know, spring training, to be on the field. So if they're not, then I'm looking, you know, who does that benefit? And Tyrone Tracy is a guy I really thought looked good last year as a rookie. And then Trey Benson, I've got the Trey McBride. I figure I couldn't get JC. And you know, we saw JC keeps every year. He's like, you know, he's just, you know, it's just one of those where you think, hey, this year's the year that he's going to drop. But you know, the man beat cancer. So you gotta, maybe we gotta be a little more optimistic about him. So he didn't fall to me. Otherwise, you know, I like to, we had Chad Parsons on the show the other night with Dan and I on the GOAT District, and he's very similar to me. Like I like to be top heavy at receiver, not have to make too many decisions with my receivers. If I can get a stud tight end, not have to worry too much about that. I mean, this year it's really deep at the position. But yeah, that's kind of the build. Is I've got my RB1 in Kamara. He's like I said, he's pretty consistent with those top 5 points. So I'm just really trying to fill my RB2 in those flex spots with what I did the rest of the draft.
I like it. We're in round 13. No QB.
Hey JD, quick question.
Yes, sir. Dale, what's
How many
up,
of these
man?
have you done so far?
Big Gorillas, not as many as I'd like. Let me pull that up right now.
Oh, you got time?
Probably, let's see here. Abib, how many have you done so far?
Man.
Actually, you're more main event guy, right? Do you do more main events than Big Gorillas, or?
I definitely don't do as many big gorillas as I did last year. Like honestly, this is probably the first one in like weeks.
Okay.
I think the way that I approach the big gorillas is like, let me try to, I try to get in like every month or so just to kind of see where the board is and build a different type of team just because I'm drafting at a different time. And then I try to draft during the holidays. I don't want to call anybody soft because clearly I drafted Ricky Person on the clock. But, those tend to be the softer drafts, not just like in the drafts, but I also feel like when waivers come, people aren't necessarily paying as much attention I'm not necessarily having to dig as deep in those type of leagues. So yeah, I kind of like the
Again,
guerrilla draft during those times.
again,
during
that's
the
why I
holidays.
didn't want to be in this draft. That's exactly why I didn't want to be in this draft. Is because like waivers, like it was brutal last year being in this draft. No, never again.
Last year was tough, man, and that's why I had to come back this year, man. I'm back for vengeance. You know, like last year I had the Allen Kincaid stack that just did not work out. You know, I got dirtied by that, and I don't remember the rest of my team. That's the part that scarred me the most. But it just that was literally my worst big gorilla last season. So far I've got 5 or 6 big gorillas ahead of this one.
Okay. Now, is this typically the way you build your teams, or have you kind of been mixing it up?
I mix it up, but I like I said, for me, receiver early, especially, you know, just there's so much depth at running back, and you know, you guys talk about it often on the show. It's easier to piece the starts together with your running backs versus your receivers, you know, and receivers are just so much more unpredictable the farther down you go into the draft, whereas you can pick up a guy, you know, in the mid-teens, and if he's starting because of injuries, you know he's starting. So it makes those decisions a little easier for me. All right, look at this. The pressure's on here.
While you're on the clock, we need to figure out when we can get 1st and 15 in the Go District.
We totally got that.
You know, like, I mean, we need to figure something out, whether it's in the draft room or just chopping it up. I feel like we can, you know, we should maybe do something where we can like find a moderator, you know, and just go 1v1 because you guys are great. The Go District is like definitely one of the pods that I have in my rotation. Dan is like a very brilliant mind. I love his approach, you know. And so you two together, I think, you know, it's definitely one of my favorite pods. So absolutely, we need to figure something out. We need to get you guys on the pod, and we need to start doing it earlier in the year so I can take advantage of you guys' knowledge. I feel like we bring you guys on later in the year, and then you guys start to put me on players. Like we, you know, may potentially have a guest coming up next week, and it's just like, damn, why are we doing this at the back end of the year? We need to get the goods at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, no, we definitely got to get together, man. I'm trying to decide here. I mean, I got a big decision here, Beeb. I got a big decision here, man. But we totally got to get you guys. It's funny you say that. I like for you to say that to me or to say that about us is definitely something I don't take lightly. All right, let me just see here. Where are you gonna go? You know what? Let's keep pushing it. Let's go Rico Dowdle here. We got Ted.
Man.
Let's go Rico Dowdle. I think my RB room is pretty good to go at this point. But I mean, when I listen to you three, it's almost like call it like a fresh breath air, man, in like fantasy football content, because you guys are like, I live in Canada. I live near Toronto. I don't have 2 friends that I could sit with and talk football. Like literally, it's like, unless it's Super Bowl time, nobody that I hang out with up here is talking football. And that's how I ended up starting this whole thing, right? It was just like finding people online. I'm sure a lot of people are like that. And you get to interact and talk football. But when for you guys to be all in the same area, to get to meet in person, to do these shows, I mean, that's a breath of fresh air, man. You don't see that. Like, you know, I know somebody talked earlier about how much they take in content. Unless it's like 1st and 15, if I see there's a 1st and 15 show, I watch it 100% of the time. I don't miss a show. Whereas, you know, there's other ones I follow and I'll catch them here and there, but I like to watch, you know, more of the football guys. Like not the football guys, the fantasy guys, but just the football shows. Cause I'm still learning the game. I'm still learning about, you know, like, you know, whatever it is, routes that the receivers run or coaches. I didn't grow up playing football, right? I played hockey. That's what we do up here. But no, man, listening to you guys, it's super natural. And the way, like when Abib's going through how he approaches certain players, why he likes players versus other ones. And then Dale comes in and he'll ask a question that I'm thinking you guys just have a really good dynamic. Chris is just, you know, the maestro, just kind of managing the whole situation. He's got his
Trying
takes.
to manage these guys. These guys are hard to corral, man.
For sure. And I'm sure you do a lot of stuff, behind the scenes from what Abib says. So just what you guys have is great, man. It's not something that you see often. So I like to tune in. And I always say, for me, guys that have skin in the game is bigger than any amount of followers on Twitter or how big your show is. If you play these tournaments regularly and you have experience, obviously Abib's back-to-back champ, but just that, to me, that holds the most weight when it comes to where I'm going to put my time.
Yeah, I think we lost both of those guys because my screen went out as well. We got an Amber Alert that was here.
No.
So all of
I'm
our
still here. I'm
screens
still
cut
here. I'm still here.
Okay. Because like
So
the
question,
Amber Alert
JD.
went on
Yes,
the
sir.
screen, so.
The storm is over there on your side of town?
Pardon me?
Is that what's going on? Is the storm over on your side of town? Is that why your screen went out?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I got
Okay.
well, actually, like an Amber Alert like went on. So
Oh, wow.
Got you.
What kind of storm you got? Like rainstorm or?
man, it's been raining like crazy here. I thought that the power was going to cut off, but it didn't. So
Oh, wow.
I'm kind of
Well, real quick, JD. So you took Aubrey at 13-12. Was that by
Yes.
design? Was that desperation? Are you high on him like that, where you're trying to get
Not-
across
not
the board?
desperation,
Talk
not-
me through that.
Again, like from the 12th spot, I got to find an advantage somewhere, right? So I got my advantage with McBride at tight
Yeah.
end. And then, as we go down here, I mean, you're looking at depth. I could grab a quarterback, but for me, the quarterbacks, like I'm either taking a guy a little like one of those top tier guys for whatever reason, whether I'm planning a stack around it or if I have Henry, that kind of thing. But I need to find an advantage. And we saw how Aubrey just smashes that ball in Dallas. And
Right.
let's face it, the running back game is questionable at this point. We don't know what we're going to get. Javante could be the guy. We don't know what they're going to do around the goal line. So I like
So
that.
you kind of
offense.
targeted him this year, kind of. You're kind of actually looking to add him to your team.
I wouldn't
Or you
say
like-
this year. I wouldn't say this year. Dan and I have
Okay.
Aubrey in because Dan and I own a lot of dynasty teams together. We have Aubrey, I think, on every team. I know on one of my solo teams, I've got Aubrey. He's like one of those guys. Like if you can get an advantage at kicker, I know it sounds stupid, but it's another advantage. It's another spot, kind of like the tight end position, where I don't got to think about it. Even his bye week, I'll go get another guy, throw him in just for that bye week, and then I'm going back to
Right.
Aubrey.
Right.
He's a weapon.
Yeah, he's definitely a weapon.
And there's nobody here that I'm really crying over. Like I've got my 4 stud receivers. If these 4 don't perform for me, this team is, it's probably not winning much for me. So I'll probably add a couple more, depth receivers as we go here. But it's same with McBride. Like if McBride is not a top 3 tight end, then this team, it's probably not going far.
I gotta tell you, I've never drafted this few of running backs this far into a draft, and I'm just leaning into it.
I like
God, I didn't even notice that. God, please.
I didn't realize it too. So I scrolled up.
Yeah, but you're balancing the roster, right? You took your 2 guys early in your top 3 picks, and now you're going everywhere else, and then you'll add some depth later on.
Yeah,
Then you got Loveland. That's all that matters, right, Abib? As long as you get Loveland.
As long as I got Loveland. As long as I got Loveland.
Man,
And Dale over here just smashing running backs.
right. JD, this might be the first time. Hold on? This might be the first time that I've ever seen someone take a kicker before they take a quarterback.
That's a good point.
You got an advantage, right? I mean, it's tough, right? Because Caleb's like, if you look at the quarterbacks that are in this range, I have quite a bit of Fields, and preseason aside, I need to differentiate. Caleb Williams, he's coming in a new system, second-year quarterback who struggled a bit last year, even if he had the weapons around him. And I love all the weapons around him, but I don't necessarily know that he's going to give me that quick start that I need.
Yeah.
So it's a little tough spending here. And now my running back room is pretty much set. Obviously, the kicker, the tight end is set. My top receivers are set. So now I can see, I can put something together at quarterback. It's easier if you have one of those top guys. You just put them in every week. But at this point, either way, I'm going to be playing the schedule. So
Yeah.
So JD, have you been to Vegas for FFPC opening weekend before?
I have. I was there, I think, a couple years ago. That's how Dan and I originally met.
Okay.
I was going out there for my 40th and didn't know anything about it. And he was answering my questions on Twitter at the time. We ended up meeting out there, and just slowly, like we stayed in contact. We, that kind of thing. I went back a couple years ago to do the live drafts. Him and I did a couple together, Theo, Andrew, and myself and Dan, we had some teams together, and we did well. I mean, I think we won two out of the three teams drafted together in the main.
Nice.
It's a fun time, man. It's a fun time. It's the first time I went there. I didn't know anyone at all, other than Dan, who I met there. And you go out there and you see everyone. A lot of the guys that we see in the draft rooms, we see that create content. It's a good time, man. Alex and David and those guys from FFPC are great. So yeah, if somebody hasn't done it, I strongly recommend it. It's fantasy football must. If you're into the game.
That's cool because this is going to be our first year, or at least my first year, going down for FFPC.
Nice.
We're going to Vegas for FFPC. Dio, like this is going to be your first time as well, right?
Yeah, it's going to be my first time.
Yeah, and I'm sure Abby is going a couple times.
I just didn't want to get ice, man. I'm not American, right? So I just
Oh yeah.
back of a,
Hey.
You never know, man.
you never know, man.
Oh man.
So I have a question for you guys, because I always wondered, do you guys, you show your drafts when each of you are drafting. I totally got sniped on Lawrence there. Do you guys ever build teams together, like these main events or big gorillas? You guys do those? The three of you?
We're thinking about doing a main event in Vegas together. So
We have a dynasty team together.
and the
That's
dynasty
the only team we had together. But
Yeah.
the problem with us is we all think so differently
Yeah.
that when it comes to constructing a team together, it's like, yeah, right. It's like no
But
specific
that's a
direction.
good thing.
It's like a Frankenstein.
That's a good
You know
thing.
what's crazy? The teams we have made, well, at least me and Abby, they actually have done pretty well from what I can recall.
Yeah. We
Oh.
always cash out. We always cash out.
I don't know. But now we think so differently of players. So, but I don't know. Maybe the differences create something beautiful, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
And
our
we-
dynasty team has kind of paid off though. 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No, you guys should definitely team up, man. I think there's some to it. I build a lot of teams, do a lot of drafts with different drafters like Mike Shopes, those kind of guys, just because they bring a different angle. They get me to look at different players that maybe I'm not looking at necessarily, or that I'm not drafting enough of. And like I said, you guys have kind of a good way to manage when you're on the show and you guys are talking fantasy. So I think all those different angles could build something interesting. You guys should try it out.
yeah.
But then we're also competitive too.
Yeah, I noticed.
Yeah. And I know Dale does not want to give any edge whatsoever. So
Like
even
on our
if we
dynasty team,
So
I don't
what?
even like setting on our dynasty team. I don't even like setting our waivers early so y'all can see the people that I'm considering picking up.
Oh yeah, we know.
We
We're
know.
aware.
Like
Yeah.
I'll wait to right before waivers are supposed to run on our dynasty team and go change real quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dio's the same guy who clears out the entire starting roster, so people don't know who he's starting on his roster when they look at his team.
Deo's got all those sleepers, his dynasty sleepers on his bench.
Man, that list has been money. That list is like
Yeah.
so many hits and so many more hits to come.
Rashard Smith.
The closer the season comes, the more it shrinks, though. You know, 'cause we start getting more information.
Yes.
You know, the ones that you thought were sleepers, they end up being super dubs. They like fall like a rock. So, the closer we get to the season, the more answers we're starting to get into the questions we had all summer long. You know, it's like we're getting to the final at this point.
Yeah.
Well, the information's like wildfire, like it spreads. There's no more sleepers. There's no more. Maybe like in February, April, maybe, you get to the draft, everybody pretty much hears about the rookies, and then
Yeah. Week one for me is like, I feel like there are just kind of a new crop of sleepers that come up. From like a fantasy point standpoint, yeah, like I understand like week one is maybe not all that important, but just from like an overall season long standpoint, to me, week one is just so important. Like I don't want to miss a second of any game. I go back and watch a couple of multiple games and just really try to get a good feel of like what is happening, what is the type of vision that this coach had, or that this new team had, or this new coordinator had. I feel like I get so much from that first week if I can fully, like, really dive in and pay attention. So yeah, that week one to me is just like, don't talk to me, don't don't converse with me. I'm just like locked in, and trying to watch as much film as possible. But that week one, you can get a lot of sleepers too as well if you're really paying close attention to who's active, who's in the depth chart, who's coming in when, and then obviously, unfortunately, injuries start to happen.
But it's the most unpredictable week, right? Like it's all this stuff happens where we're like, never, like, why didn't I think of that? Like, and then it's the waiver wire is just like, okay, who's gonna get there first and drop the biggest load, with their waiver wire money. But yeah, week one is the first 4 weeks. I always say it's just craziness. That's the biggest fluctuation, and then it kind of tapers out, and then you get a better grasp of what's probably going to happen the rest of the season. But the first 4 weeks are always the most chaotic.
Aubrey is known for having, distance, because I was going to say something that was going to be pause worthy, but obviously he has a big leg, pause. And so we draft him in slots like the 13th round. I've seen him go in the 13th round quite a bit. But after seeing Little hit that 70-yarder, are we starting to overvalue Aubrey a bit in his distance? Or is it the distance plus consistency and the Dallas Cowboys offense that you're banking on? Because it seems like more kickers are kicking deeper, and so...
I mean, it's a combination, right? Like they're indoors, first of all, obviously in Dallas. So they've got that. It's an offense that, I mean, Dak's coming back for his first season, full season off the injury. Mm-hmm. Like I said, the running back situation is questionable at this point. What if they don't figure out the whole the running back situation? He's not like Jalen Hurts where he's going to be at the 1 yard line rushing it in, right? So there's a possibility. They've got Pickens and CeeDee Lamb and Fergie to move the ball down the field. And maybe that's the answer where they're going to get the touchdown. But it's one of those things where if this offense clicks, then Aubrey's going to be kicking a lot of extra points and just, in general, getting a lot of points. And then if it doesn't, they're still able to get it. They should still be able to get it down the field and then at least set up Aubrey. And I'm sure just as a team, they're gonna trust in him, obviously, with the way he's performed. So you know what? It's one of these. It's more of a fun pick at this point. You're trying to get guys that, maybe in the Big Gorilla specifically. I don't have any Aubrey. I haven't made that move. Again, being in the 12 spot, just trying to get a bit of an advantage. Mm-hmm. That's mostly it.
Yeah.
I mean, Bates might be, the number one kicker this year with, who knows, maybe the offense takes a tad step, with maybe closing the deal or maybe not, just whether it's the center gone, the OC gone, we never know. But Aubrey's, he was an advantage last year. If you were going up against Aubrey, as a kid in looking at each position, he was a bit of an advantage. So that's all I'm trying to get here in the 12 spot.
No, I can see it. I mean, he has a big leg, so you start with that first, as far as him being able to kick 70 yards, and then he's in a likely a high-powered offense, and then so now it just kind of comes, down to, I think Dale mentioned on the previous pod, just hoping that new head coach kind of views him the same way as kicking 70 yarders or allowing him to make those kicks in games.
I see you with the Xavier Legette. He was putting together a pretty good team. I tell you are staying true to how you feel about
He took Damian Pierce. I knew I should have taken that. That's smart. Okay.
smart room, man.
Smart
It's a
room.
sharp
Smart
room.
room. Yeah. I hope he
You worried about Pat Fryermuth, Dale?
Am I worried about Pat Fryermuth? I think early in the season.
You talking to me?
No, Dale drafted him.
Yeah,
So-
Dale took him.
Yeah.
Well, I'd love to hear a Beeb's take too, but I'm just thinking, obviously they bring in Jonnu.
I love Fryermuth this year. Love Fryermuth.
You and Dan should go on a date. Talk
Oh my
about Fryermuth.
gosh, I think it's crazy. I think he's the most mispriced player on the whole board. I really do. So
You know what's
Really,
crazy?
Interesting.
Dale's like the low key tight end whisperer, or has been a tight end whisperer in the past. And Dan, I know, is like a tight end whisperer.
Yes.
So if both of those guys are on Pat Fryermuth,
I know. Maybe we need to pay more attention.
yeah, like just
nah,
swallow
don't pay no attention. Don't worry about it.
it off. But yeah, pay
Dan-
no mind.
Dan loves him from some Fryermuth. We were doing that big gorilla, and he's trying to convince me. He somehow he didn't convince me, but I'm like, you know what? I have no shares of Jerry Jeudy. I'm like, go ahead. You want Jeudy?
Yeah.
I'm not a Jeudy guy, but you know what? You can have him. I'll take the next pick. But Fryermuth, he tried to sell me on. I just couldn't get into it. I'm like, I don't know, man. There's just that offense. B, they bring in Jonnu. It's just, I don't know. I mean, now his price is 16th round in tight end preem, so
Yeah.
he's worth a shot for sure.
Yeah, the way Dale got me on him was just the idea that first it started off with like him sending a tweet about Aaron Rodgers and Pat Fryermuth, and I'll let him talk about that. But you're like, okay, they're building a little bit of rapport. But then like everything that I've read from like the beat reporters are that the tight ends are going to be heavily involved in the passing game. Like every time like someone asks a beat writer or someone close to the club about like who they think the number one receiving option is going to be, they're like highly unlikely or unlikely to be a wide receiver. It's probably going to be the tight ends and probably both of the tight ends. They're like, this offense may really run through the tight ends in a lot of different ways. They said don't really view them as like Pat Fryermuth and Jonnu Smith taking away from each other. Just view Jonnu in a Jonnu role, which is going to be a very unique, I guess, in the Arthur Smith offense. He'll have some rushes and things like that. And then view Pat Fryermuth more in kind of the traditional receiving tight end role, where both of them can eat. And then you look at the red zone. When I started kind of leaning away from DK, even though DK is a big guy, I just for me it's just not it. It's like, okay, who's going to score touchdowns for these guys? Well, typically in the red zone, especially with a guy like Arthur Smith, he's probably going to come up with some like crazy scheme plays for his tight end, and that's going to be Pat Fryermuth and Jonnu Smith. So they both go super late. So it's just one of those things where, yeah, like why not? Like why not?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be tough. It's one of those where it's tough to predict, but he's your tight end 3. You know what I mean? So you're looking to fill in bye weeks. You've got 2 guys who went back to back with the purple on 6 and 7 there. So those are obviously going to be your starters. If Fryermuth does, give us kind of what he's given us the last couple of years or more, then that's pretty nice value. It's not. I don't know. Gesicki this year is a little tricky with. I don't know if you guys think Fant coming in makes any big difference.
Wait. Chad said that he said $100,000. I'm assuming that says ask JD what he thought when Chad said he just said $100,000 to Underdog.
Yes, sir. No, to the FFPC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He basically told us he had just sent that day, I think, like $100,000 to Dave or Alex. I can't remember which one at the FFPC.
Oh, for like teams.
For entries, like to
oh
load
yeah,
up.
so he does all of his drafts late, right?
Yes. And so I reached out to him earlier in the season because he's one of those guys we have on every year.
Yeah.
And he's like, you know what, just wait. And I always I forget this every season. Like I know that he doesn't, which is smart when you think about it. Because I told him, I look at my results and I feel like from February until July is kind of like you're working out. It's like you're training. You're skipping rope. You're like Rocky in the gym. But then like from like August ish to September till week 1, that's where the money. I know me, like my results are always better. The furthest my team is built, the better my team looks. The better, because you get a feel for the draft board. You don't even need, somebody talked about having spreadsheets and stuff. By September 1st, you don't need anything. I could do the draft like blind, like the bare knuckles, I guess, in the FFPC.
That is crazy.
Yeah, 100 Genos, man. That's no joke.
Oh my god.
That is crazy.
One day,
crazy.
Not really.
One day.
But the crazy thing is not only the $100,000 is that it's like August. What is it? August 20 something today.
21st. Yeah.
I can barely get through my bankroll as like a fraction of that, and I'm still trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to work this from now until It's like how do you break that down? But good for him, man. Obviously, it's successful and he does well.
Does he diversify, or he kind of has his targets and he just kind of goes all in on them?
No, you know what? You guys should watch the show. We had him on and we went for 2 hours with him. He's if you go on Draft Room Baller, he's one of those guys where he's just straight up honest. He tells you as it is, but he's like a value-based drafter. He keeps it simple. He's like, I just sit and wait for the draft to fall to me. And he does so many drafts, so he's gonna see. You know what I mean? It's not like he's got 4 drafts and he's like, hey, I like this guy. He's doing so many drafts that he can just sit there and take the value at every pick. And those are usually my most successful team. Yeah. I talk about a team last year that I went the farthest with in the Big Gorilla was I got JJ in the first round, and then I went Barkley, Kamara, and H8. Yeah. And I had like those 4 guys who were usually in the top 2 rounds, as because value was just falling to me. I'm not even a heavy RB guy early rounds, but it just fell to me. And when the value falls, you guys know you got to take it.
Yeah. When you hear him talk or hear him like just sort of kind of speak on his approach, it sounds honestly like a lot like Dave. Dave's like, I don't really have a guy that I'm targeting. It's like,
totally.
I just take whoever falls to me.
Totally.
Yeah, we'll get along
it adds
just
up.
fine.
Totally.
Yeah, it adds up.
That's it, man. Keep it simple, stupid, and he gets the results. That's just the way it is.
That is crazy.
I feel like fantasy football. The more you think the less you know. Almost, if you keep an open mind to the fact that you might not be right on a lot of these players, you probably have a better chance of hitting, especially if you're playing tournament fantasy.
You are on the clock.
Absolutely.
There you go, Matt Gay. Oh, is that a Beeb or no?
Yeah.
So here's the thing with Matt Gay, man. I'm not sure he's gonna end up keeping that job. I've heard he struggled a little bit. I've heard he struggled a little bit in practicing.
With the Colts?
I actually think is he with the Colts? No, he's with the Commanders.
No, I know, but he was with the Colts last year. That's why you said he struggled. So I didn't know if you
I've heard he struggled like in camp right now. And I actually think he missed a field goal in one of the preseason games. I think maybe it was the first game. But I heard his job security isn't as strong as we would have, and we would hope.
Well, you're talking about a quarterback that went from kicking indoors in that AFC South. Now he's kicking in one of the toughest divisions, outdoor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there's a lot of pressure. I think anyone this year playing with Jane Daniels is going to feel, unless you're Debo, because he's been there, done that. But
they went through like 4 kickers last year. I don't know if it was due to injury or they were just struggling, but I just remember. Yeah. But that kicker position was valuable. I will say that because I was targeting them. But,
Again,
if he keeps the job, that's great. If not, then whoever they replace him with, that's going to be a kind of a sleeper at kicker.
Yeah.
Fairbairn, it's funny. He was going top 2, 3 last year, and now obviously with Houston's season, he's still indoor. You got to think the offense is improved.
Mm-hmm. Here's the thing, JD, though, and I don't think people realize that he actually broke the record for 50-yard field goals last year.
Yes. No, he
had a good season.
Yeah. He was decent. I think it's just because people have in their head that Houston didn't have that good of a season, and that's kind of what. All right, what are we doing here?
But like Chris always says, when he targets his kickers, he's looking for a kicker on a team that the offense can move the ball, but they struggle to get.
Struggle in the red zone.
In the red zone, and that's kind of what Houston was last year. So
yeah.
Yep. Boswell as well.
We're gonna
Jay, you still need your defense, huh? What
Yeah.
defense you going with?
Well, I mean, Baltimore's just sitting there. Is there a reason they're still sitting there? What am I missing?
I think they have a hard week 1 matchup. I think they might be playing the Bills, maybe.
Yeah, the Bills week 1, but Baltimore's defense definitely supposed to be improved this year. They sort of kind of turned it on a little bit towards the back end of last year. They definitely, this secondary started off rough, but
Do they
it's
have
supposed to be-
rushers? Do they got guys that can rush the passer?
That's a good question.
All right. You know what? I'll keep it simple. We'll go for Baltimore. We'll take on Buffalo first week 1. Let's go. Bring it. And then on brand, I mean, it's hard for me not to take this guy. We take him in every draft. How many receivers do I have here? 2, 4. Oh, perfect. This is a perfect Pat Bryant build right here.
Oh, there you
I
go.
have Pat Bryant on every big gorilla or main event I've done. Dan and I draft with Harry Snowman, Rob. And I mean, they both love Pat Bryant. I love Pat Bryant. So it's like no matter what, we somehow end up with Pat Bryant. But
So
sorry.
sell me on the story with Pat Bryant. Y'all think he's going to start the year wide receiver 2, or you think he's going to ascend over time? Like, what are y'all seeing with Bryant?
No, I mean the last 4 or 5 rounds, I picked up Kyle Williams and Pat Bryant. I mean, I'm looking for upside. It's kind of like Dale talked about those guys, and I forget which round he was talking about, but 5th or 6th or 7th. Like there's guys, what you have, and if you need to plug a hole in a build, you take them. But
Yeah.
I took my top 4 guys in the top 6 rounds when it comes to receivers. So I'm just trying to hit a home run with either Kyle Williams, Pat Bryant. I like what I've heard from, what's Denver's? Wow. I met him on a beach in Mexico.
Miami?
No, the coach.
Oh, Sean Payton?
Sean
Yeah,
Payton?
Sean Payton. Sorry.
Yeah.
My wife and I went for a walk, and we met him and his wife the summer before he went to Denver. I think that summer he was going to Denver. Yeah, it literally was just the 4 of us on the whole beach in Cabos. So I got a nice picture with him, the whole deal. But I just like what he said about Pat Bryant. He kind of obviously he came in. He's improved that team. He brought in Knicks.
You are on the clock.
He's picking his guys now, with RJ, Pat Bryant. I know they signed Sutton, but when they start talking about Michael Thomas as how he sees Pat Bryant in that offense, I like that. I like the upside there. It's an ascending offense. It's the last pick of the round of the draft, so take that swing.
Who's Team 10 that just took Phil Maffa? Who was that?
Team 10, man. It's been killing it. I'm telling you.
Dale had him in his queue right up there.
All right. I see I have an enemy this season.
I told you,
That's
Team
cool.
10 has been killing it.
Jalen,
Entire
Team
draft.
10 is rivalry week for me.
is that Abib? Abib, that's a nice last pick, man. Jalen Royals. I'm in drafts and I'm like, how is this guy still on the board with all the Rashee Rice dizziness? You know what I mean? Like everybody says he's a Rashee Rice clone. Rashee Rice has all these issues. How do you not like Jalen Royals?
I've honestly, I've been, on most of my Rashee Rice teams, and I do I can't not take that risk. I can't, it's a player that I've been drafting that haven't been too scared off of, but I will almost always draft Jalen Royals on those teams too as well. I
Same.
don't know if it'll be anything, but
We just did a 250, just a 12-man best ball 250, and we picked up Rice at a nice discount. And I mean, Royals was sitting there, and it's like a no-brainer, especially a 12-man. You want to kind of pick up that floor.
yeah. All right, we did it.
All right, fellas.
There it is,
It
boys.
is over.
I totally overstayed my welcome. Sorry, guys.
No,
Nah,
it's all good.
man.
It's all good.
Glad we could have you, man. Glad we could have you.
Thanks for
This
having me, man.
awesome. This was awesome. This was awesome. I appreciate
Well, this was
you.
a tough draft. This was a tough draft.
Like
Everybody got sniped at some point.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that'll happen.
it'll be fun, man. See what happened this year. No, I appreciate you guys having me. Good luck this year, and keep the content coming, man. Keep it coming. I like it.
Absolutely.
It's fun. And
All right,
Chris,
thanks for dropping
All right,
in,
JD, good luck, man.
Chris, try to coordinate that date if we can between now and the start of the season. Dan and I are ready to go. We'll do.
Man. We'll do. We got Steve G in. Thanks again, JD.
Cheers.
Cheers. Steve G, what's going on, man?
What's up, brother?
Oh man, dude, I got Mr. Fantasy Soprano.
Oh, okay.
Hold on, let me find this thing, man. What's going on, guys?
Nothing much, man. We've been drafting in a lot of leagues since like what, maybe March, April. You've been in these streets.
Against you, buddy, isn't fun, but you know, we make the best of it.
Yeah.
Deo, I took Chris Rodriguez just for you today.
You took who?
Yeah.
Chris Rodriguez just for you today.
Hey, that I used to be a big fan, man. I used to be a real big fan. He's one of those lost soldiers I had.
So,
I'm
so
glad
I
he's
had-
back
I
in the
had
spotlight.
I had something in Jacksonville, right? So well, we had a big conference. I have a big insurance company. So we had what's his name? Joe Theismann as an inspirational speaker, right?
Yeah.
And so I asked him last year, I go, you know, what do you think? So he liked Rodriguez. He said that, you know, the guy had a lot of potential, but I never saw that come to fruition. I just saw him at one big run last week, and I said, let me take this guy. There's no other real running backs. Let me mess with Deo here.
That's a good pick, man. That's a good pick. You know what?
He had that auto pick on Pittman, man. I thought he might drop to me. I thought.
The auto pick snipe.
The auto
What
pick.
was the auto pick?
The auto pick got
Pittman. I think
me.
the auto pick Pittman.
Michael Pittman.
You know, I
Okay,
wasn't
okay,
really
okay.
into Pittman, but at this point, I think with Daniel Jones, I think he might do something.
Yeah, it's been one of those things like throughout the offseason. It's like not a player that I want to be high on, but he's just been so cheap throughout, you know?
Listen, in this draft, I had to look. I hate the 6th pick. Well, I don't care about really any pick.
Yeah, me too.
Because I've done 100 of these, so at this point, you kind of like manage where you are, right?
Yeah.
But you know, in the 6th pick, I don't have a lot of Justin Jefferson. I just haven't. I've been getting a lot of front of the drafts and a lot of late drafts, so I don't have much of Jefferson. I was thinking about taking Barkley there, and then I said, you know what? I'd rather take Will Shipley later on in the draft.
Yeah.
Than take Barkley there. I took a high-end wide receiver. I don't have any real Puka, which this is like I have a
Great
lot of
value.
I don't really have much. I have more main. I have like 30 main events now, and I think that's where I'm going to hold it at.
Yeah.
But Puka, I don't have much of, so I took him. Trevion Henderson. I was going to try to do a Drake May, Trevion Henderson stack, but someone took Drake May a lot earlier than I thought.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to drop back to me because I think that's a sneaky stack. It's a tournament. You got to get a little different, right?
Yeah.
Henderson, he's passing the ball a lot. But this is a tough draft, man. You got to, you're drafting in front of me. Yeah, I mean, this is the JD draft at the 12. It was what it was.
So you like stacking your teams?
I don't
You were
like
trying to do
stack as much in redraft, but I'll take a hookup, right?
Okay.
So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was thinking about taking Pickens before Ridley and then maybe trying to hook him up with Dak because I think that's going to be like I don't think Pickens is as much volume as he's going to get really big hits. So he's more valuable if you stack him with Dak than try to think you're going to get volume of catches from Pickens and Lambs there. So, I mean, it's all a matter of at this point, I guess we've done so many of these. It's a matter of kind of like if somebody drops to you with value, which you're not going to get now, the value date is done. So we're over with that.
Yeah.
So we just try to figure out the board, and as you know, whatever there is there. In this particular draft, I don't think there was any value anywhere, to be honest. You had to just go get what you had to get. It wasn't much.
So talking about Calvin Ridley picking the fourth
sure.
round, I don't think I've seen Calvin Ridley go this high. You must be like really in on him.
So I think Calvin Ridley is gonna really do well this year because he's the number one on that team. Ward and him seem to have a lot of chemistry.
Yeah.
I just, it was between him and Pickens at that point. So, I mean, I didn't know which one to take, to be honest. I took Ridley because I figured he was I have a lot of Pickens. I have a ton of Pickens. I have a lot of Ridley too. But I just took Ridley. I just clicked them. I said, at this point, ADP's out the window. You take somebody in the 5th. Look at Henderson.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's out the window. It's out there. I was taking Henderson in the 5th and 6th round. I was going back and reviewing some of the drafts he did. I'm looking at I'm taking Trevion Henderson in the 3rd round. I'm like, wow. I'm like, either I become a tourist or I'm just listening to the hype. But I think Henderson's going to do well. I actually think that he's going to be somebody that maybe later towards the end of the year after he finds his groove.
Yeah.
You have him in the right spot. He's going to win you some games.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm like we keep saying, somebody comes up,
he's gonna take that job, man.
But he looked like it. But I don't mind, especially from someone who's been drafting early on, like you got 4th, 5th round Henderson and to come back and take him in the 3rd round. You just build a team. You just never know. Like you never know. You never know because the ADP board is what the ADP board is now. And obviously, like just like you said, like if you go back and like look at some of the early boards, like you can just sit there and just like be the, you can spend an hour looking at a board just thinking to yourself like, oh my God, like how was I able to build this? And just like you're thinking like, why would I want to draft anymore? But when I look back at the end of the year, every single year, it's like any of those teams can do well, and then you get into the tournament. It's just building the right combination, and you never know what that's going to be.
I had a team last year. I drafted like the first main event team that I did that wasn't a slow draft. I drafted with you. Last year, the first main event team I did, I missed the playoffs by maybe 3 points. That last Burrow to Chase touchdown in that game knocked me out. Okay, so I had 22 main event teams last year, and I think I cashed in 11. That's good. That's good. That team that I did, I didn't win all of them, but I cashed in them, like with the point stuff, right? So that particular team, if I get into the playoffs, sorry, I'm a degenerate too. I'm doing another draft also. If I get into the playoffs with that team, I got to tell you that team would have done damage. That team would have done damage. It would have done. But that's what happens, man. It's a tournament. You're gonna, things are gonna happen. You have to. I've been playing FFPC maybe like 4 or 5 years now, and every year you understand it a little differently. Even though you've been playing fantasy football for 15, 20 years, right? Yeah. I also have another theory that people might think I'm nuts, right? People run away from the best players in fantasy. Mm-hmm. I don't like drafting against you, but you learn a lot of lessons from drafting against a guy like you, right? And I'm not saying that to toot your horn because I'm the type of guy you could tell. I'm not here to stroke anybody's ego. So, you're good, and it is what it is, right? Yeah. So Chad Schroeder said he said $100,000 to the FFPC. I'm in more than that. Okay, I'm in every high society. I'm in 3 big paybacks. I have so it's not about the money. You want to do something. It's a hobby. I just had a kid, right? So the last 38 weeks.
Congratulations, man.
Congrats.
I'm back crazy. I can't go out. And believe me, I'm a night guy. I'm a night guy. I can't go out. I can't go anywhere because I don't want to, I got a pregnant wife at home, right? Yeah. So I'm sitting here. I'm like, what else do I have to do? All right. And it's not just me drafting all these teams. I have 3 or 4 guys, 5 guys actually with me. And they manage and we do stuff like that. Yeah. But if you're not going to draft against better drafters, how are you going to improve yourself? How are you going to get sharper? You're not. And you're going to donate. I've donated on poker tables all my life. Okay. Yeah. I'm a pretty good poker player too, but I've donated. You got to sit back, want to play against better players, right? And you got to just adapt and learn from it,
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, one of the biggest things for me too, just like what you said, is appreciating the players that you're playing against. And when you see a guy in the league and then you see him in another league and you see him in another league, and then you kind of go back and you're like, I'd like to go back. Like, I asked you about Calvin Ridley, but I know you're a Calvin Ridley guy, but like you go back and you like look at some of the builds and you're like, oh, that's interesting. And you start to kind of go through some of the thought process, and then you start to, you either realize that, okay, I'm really not on that guy, or you start to like open up to the possibilities of, okay, I can see this working, and then it takes you down a certain path. And I really do think it makes you a better player, being able to appreciate other drafters, what they can do, because we don't know it all. And even if we do know it all, being able to construct it, being able to build a team, putting the right combination together, it's tough.
You're building a team, right? So you can't build every team the same way, right? It's a method for losing. But you have to understand how to build the team. So, sometimes I'm going to go 0 RB, which I like going a lot, right? Sometimes I'm going to go hero RB. But you also, another thing, I've been playing it a lot of years, and I played a lot of home leagues that are monstrous. But one thing's for sure. A lot of people, they listen to all these guys on the radio. They listen to a lot of podcasts, and I listen to a lot of content too. I like listening to you guys, especially because number 1, I play against you. Number 2, you're one of the best players in the world. Number 3, you have to try to understand what people are doing. So I feel that if you're just going to listen to anybody out there, you're going to turn on XM radio, you're going to listen to these guys, you're not going to win. These guys, a lot of these guys have no vested interest in high stakes. And no disrespect to everybody. There's some guys that I respect. Theo Reminger, I respect Scott Barrett. Those guys are guys I respect.
Yeah.
But a lot of guys, they're talking, they're barking, they're this and that, and they don't have no skin in the game, and it's just talk. And you can throw out 50 guys a week. Yeah, you're gonna throw out 50 guys a week. 10 or 12 of them are gonna hit. Yeah, I was right on these guys. It's a matter of watching football. I've been in the sports business, and you can read between the lines. I was 14 years old. Okay, so I've watched so many football games and basketball. Sometimes it's an eye test, right? You want to say, okay, I like the way this guy looks. Maybe the metrics aren't there. I'm definitely not a metrics guy. You're not going to see me looking at analytics all the time. Whose ass is different and all that stuff. Yeah, I'm going to pay it into consideration, but you also have to understand the game and understand people's positions in where they are, right? You can't just say, oh, look, this guy's saying he's ranked 15th, and I'm going to live by that. It's not something I do anymore.
All right, guys, we got one more guest. The light show is coming up. Steve G, thanks a lot, man.
All right,
appreciate it. See
you in Vegas, brother.
Yes,
see you in Vegas, bro.
All right, man. Be safe.
Take care.
Steve G be in them streets.
Yeah. Light show, what's going on?
Hey, g'day, guys. How we doing?
Where we calling from?
I'm calling from Melbourne in Australia.
Oh,
wow.
Australia.
Wow.
We are talking
It's,
to Australia right now.
Yeah.
What time
it's
is
been
it
a
there?
Journey with you guys. I reckon I found you guys a few years just Twitter searching. I reckon Theo Greminger mentioned you first up, and he said this is guy AB. He's won FFP. He's won the championships a couple of times. I'm like, all right. And I just started fanning you guys. Had a little brief show. You guys weren't really making you guys that public, so it was a very niche find. And you guys have transformed kind of my approach to falling in love with NFL fantasy and getting my strategy down pat for sure. So it's been awesome.
Nice.
That's
What pick
what's
are
up.
you, man?
11.
I picked in the 11 hole.
Oh,
So,
11. Okay.
Yes, I took Amon Rod, then Drake London, James Cook, RJ Harvey. I like the build. Solid build.
You took value. You just took value that fell to you.
Yep.
Yeah, for me in this approach here, definitely sort of double wide receiver start is probably the strongest here. Probably let a couple of guys go in Nico and Puka slide by me, but I think Drake London for me, I'm just a massive guy on his potential this year with the actual potential to be stepping up into that kind of first round range in future years, just with volume, fast-paced offense. The pick in the middle probably found not wanting to draft, but Chuba kind of that whole 4th, 5th round kind of just went no RBs, and then Chuba just kind of fell back. So just kind of consolidated that room a little bit, and then but definitely found it very hard. I got sniped multiple times, and definitely enjoyed watching AB pull the trigger on a couple of their main guys, and I think it was the race to Loveland in that 7th round, whereas definitely everyone was interested, I think.
So is this typically how you build your teams, or this was kind of unique for you?
I'm typically a RB protectionist. I like having that kind of security in that RB room at all times, and I get a little bit concerned if I miss out on RBs in the draft, just because I feel that with injuries you need to be backed up, and I don't normally have a strong take on trying to pick which backup's going to be the best one to go with. But this year, definitely the double wide receiver at the back end of the first, and then in that early second, I just felt like just let the board play out and just see what happens with Bucky, see what happens with Chase Brown, Achane. Just kind of the way it played out this year.
So your Harvey pick was 402. I think he usually goes in the 5th round. Are you targeting Harvey this year, or did you just feel like kind of talk me through your thought process with that pick?
Yeah, look, definitely I knew he was going to get taken, but I think Henderson's slowly becoming my guy in that back end of the 3rd. Harvey was just purely a board play because I saw that by the time I got back, I didn't know what was going to be there. So I kind of had to jump the gun a little bit. Would have loved to probably consolidate. I think I actually really wanted to take a quarterback there. I wanted either JD or Lamar, and then just happened to go down the running back path with that pick.
Right.
But how'd you guys go? I mean, very, very tough draft. So I was picking next to you, Chris. So I was also monitoring a couple of your picks at times.
No. That's actually somebody else. That's somebody else at 10. No,
you were the 10. Oh.
No. I love that team though. That's my favorite team. Like,
yeah, I heard you gas up Team 10 in the middle. I'm like, he's just loving himself here at the moment. So I was going to back you in anyway.
No. I backed out to let Sports Betting Man get in. He killed this draft as well. Started a bit late, but Team 10 to me drafted the way I would have drafted, minus Bowers. But no, I love that team though.
Yeah, well, I like the Bowers doesn't fall that late very often, so I don't mind it as much.
Yeah,
he took Phil Maffa, man. We got beef.
So let me ask you, because most people are kind of, I don't want to say out on Amon-Ra, but I think they kind of view him towards the back end of that wide receiver tier, towards the back end. Do you feel like Amon-Ra is kind of being slept on? Is that like he's kind of wanted to build something that's a little bit different?
Yeah, I'm also mindful of the unique builds at times as well. And again, you try and piece those kind of first two picks a little bit differently. I think when I come to my wide receivers, I just kind of try and stick to high possession, high reception target guys. So Nico would have been perfect there as well. Brian Thomas again. I guess for coming from Australia, you kind of fall in love with the underdog a little bit. So the Lions are a team that definitely get a lot of love down here. Just because we've watched them go through the ringer the last 3-4 years. You just want to see them get over the mark at some point. But even watching the game against Washington last year as well, like they're just teams you love. They're high-powered offenses, and they're good fun.
And that's when all fails, like draft the player on the high-powered offense.
Yeah,
that's kind of what you did.
Also, I also like that 6th round Isaiah Pacheco pick too, because it sort of rounds out that running back room. And so obviously you get that running back that you can plug in and start immediately if you want to. I don't think, he's going to be sharing carries at least week 1, first half or first part of the season. So I actually like Isaiah Pacheco there.
And you get the first look.
And then you get that first look. Yep. Yeah.
So real quick, in Australia – oh, sorry, Chris. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I was just going to say very quickly, in terms of the middle of the round build, Pacheco, again, just a consolidated pick. But then I try to use just handcuff with Ray Davis and Brashard Smith afterwards. You can argue probably Kareem Hunt as well. I was mindful, though, with my wide receiver room, is that when I took a Dunze and I took Jaden Reed, even though I kind of like the player, I'm mindful they're all on week 5 buys. So, and that also goes for Drake Make and Brock Purdy. They both got the week 14 bye now. As you know, with FFPC, with the league, that's grand final week. So that's why I have to go back it up with Herbert a little bit later. So it was a very mindful build as well, just mindful of the weeks coming up as well.
Yeah.
No, I was going to ask, in Australia, do a lot of people play fantasy football? Or how did you get into it? Like, is this pretty common over there?
Yeah, it's I think it's growing. I think there's a lot more fan base, and I know that we're excited. I think in next October, the first game in Australia is going to be played on the MCG, which is kind of like our main coliseum of footy.
Okay, who's playing that game? Who are they sending over there?
Week 1, Philly Rams.
Oh, y'all getting the first game? Oh, okay. What week is that?
Yeah, but
I gotta look that up. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, no, it's definitely growing. I probably picked up following sports, so I picked Seattle as my team because I grew up in that, watching the Legion of Boom dominating, and that was the first thing you grab onto, and then run the course. So I think definitely it's growing down here, and I've got mates as well that we actually joined in last week. Where I had 2 mates. We did the first listener league with you guys, where we had a little bit of success. We kind of made the like the second round of the 3rd and 4 losers, and we had a little bit of coin come through. So we're kind of we're like you guys, like you 3. You guys are just talking and just bouncing ideas. We do the same thing as well.
That's cool. That's
cool. You got to get you guys with the Vegas.
Yeah,
Would love to come. Would love to come over, and I'm excited to see how you guys will go at the main event this year, especially with that early look as well. I know that you guys would always be thinking about little niches and how to get ahead as well.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we are 2 hours and 14 minutes in. I think that's it for this episode.
Yeah.
Light Show, thanks again for tapping in, man. Appreciate it.
Hey, good luck this year, man.
Cheers, and you too, guys. We'll keep on following through. And what's your plans with the pods? I know you guys kind of do the quarterly updates. Are we going to hear more from you this year, or what are we thinking?
I think
we
so.
We plan on keeping it up, staying more consistent throughout the season, and kind of doing some start-sit stuff, and just kind of going through and just navigating through like waiver wires and start-sits. Since
Chris,
I think that's most of the draft.
Start-sits, man. Come on,
We're not doing start-sits then. We may be doing something weekly.
You don't want to do start-sits? What's the whole point?
Yeah,
No.
I think what we're planning on doing is probably a weekly review or a review of the week's games. It'll be kind of more remote format, something a little bit light, and then hopefully we can get together for the quarterly pods. These guys, everybody kind of has kids and work, and so it gets a little tough, but we enjoy it, and so as long as we can make it happen, we definitely gonna try to figure something else out or figure something out.
Yeah, no, we love you. We keep on going and stay ready this year. We'll see you guys soon.
All right,
appreciate that, man. Take care.
Thanks a lot, guys, for tapping in. Please like, rate, subscribe. We're out.
Yes, sir.